Beautiful day in the Valley of the Sun. Cactus League baseball coming your way this afternoon. And two division rivals, two old friends meet. In fact, they're co-tenants here at Salt River Field. It's the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. For the record, Arizona is the home team. Welcome, everybody. We also have a split broadcast with our good friends from Arizona. Darren Sutton is my counterpart, and it's good to see Sut as always. Arizona had a banner year last season, 10 days from first pitch when it counts. How's spring training gone?
Spring training has gone well for the Diamondbacks because they've stayed healthy. They won the West last year because a guy like Justin Upton played in 150-plus games, and a guy like Ian Kennedy made his 30-plus starts. They've been healthy this spring. Not as many position battles as some clubs have to have.
Well, the Rockies have had some question marks. We'll get into those during the game as they try to whittle things down. Again, in 10 days, the Rockies will get ready to take on the Houston Astros. The Giants will be here in Arizona when the Diamondbacks play Game 1 of 162. All right, we talk about pitching. We talk about starting pitching. Jeremy Guthrie goes for the Rockies, and Patrick Corbin going for Arizona, number 67 on your scorecard.
Well, and it's supposed to be Daniel Hudson. The Rockies are familiar with him, number 2 starter in the rotation. Strategy, Kirk Gibson. He puts Daniel Hudson in a minor league game. Not going to let the Rockies get one more crack at him. Pat Corbin is highly thought of by Kirk Gibson. He's the first answer, if there is one of those injuries we spoke of, to step into the major league rotation or even help in the bullpen. There is still an outside, and I mean outside chance that a solid effort by the pitcher like Corbin today could land him on the bullpen, but again, a long shot. You will see him very soon in the big leagues. I will tell you this, Gibson and his Diamondbacks are somewhat excited to see Jeremy Guthrie. What can you tell Arizona fans about what, for me, was a big acquisition this winter?
Absolutely. One of the biggest moves, and the Rockies made a number of them in the offseason. He's been the opening day starter 3 of the last 4 years for the Baltimore Orioles. He will start opening day for the Colorado Rockies. They've loved what they've seen. He pounds the strike zone with a heavy sinker. He throws maybe a little bit harder than some of the scouting reports initially said. He's 94 to 96. He's touched 97 on a number of occasions this spring. He has done absolutely everything the Rockies could have asked so far. So Arizona will get a little sneak preview at Jeremy Guthrie. Well, the pitchers are set. We'll learn a little bit more about some other topics when we return to Arizona on a beautiful Scottsdale afternoon.
Gorgeous day here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Proximity, fans, players, spectacular. Just like that, you can take a walk, stand right next to a workout before the game, or catch yourself a minor league game. Glad to have you back representing the Colorado Rockies, Jeff Houston. I'm Darren Sutton. You know Mark Grace, of course, our partner here in the great state of Arizona. Houston, I want to start with you. And I want to start with a guy that's had a couple of big springs throughout his career, and the Colorado Rockies hope that he will take it into the regular season. Looks like Tyler Colvin may just have earned a spot.
Well, he is. He's rebounding from his outings last year with the Chicago Cubs. Did not hit well. But think back to 2010. Here's a young man that had over 20 home runs. And he's coming to this spring trying to fight for that 4th or 5th outfield spot. He's hitting over 400 now for the Rockies. And with Charlie Blackmon being hurt, it's really opened the door for him to possibly be that extra outfielder as they head into the regular season.
All right, let's stay with the outfield, Gracie, because the Diamondbacks, I think many fans thought, made a very interesting move. They brought Jason Kubel in. Gerardo Parra won a Gold Glove last year. I guess the one thing we know right now is that Justin Upton plays right field.
Well, bringing over Jason Kubel, I think, surprised a lot of Diamondback fans and a lot of people nationwide. One thing about Jason Kubel, there's 7.5 million reasons why he's going to play this year. I don't really need to explain that to you. So he's going to be out, and he's going to get his looks, certainly in the field. Now, everybody thinks it's Gerardo Parra that's going to have to take a back seat. Not so fast, guys, because Chris Young needs to improve against right-handed pitching. Only a .229 career hitter against right-handed pitching. Well, Jason Kubel, Gerardo Parra happen to be left-handed. So it really might be Chris Young that finds some time on the bench if he's not careful.
Should be a lot of fun outfield play. We'll take a look at it today. A lot of fun watching what happens. Again, Parra has played about half the time in center field this spring. We're glad to call it for you. We're sharing with the great state of Colorado and Arizona today. If you're somewhere outside of Arizona, look what you're missing.
Baseball is presented by Taco Bell's new Doritos Locos Tacos Live Más. Glad to have you back. Where can you not hike around the great state of Arizona, especially moments away from Salt River Field at Talking Stick. Cactus League Baseball. Patrick Corbin, the 22-year-old left-hander, getting ready to face the Colorado Rockies. This is the 4th meeting between these two clubs this spring. The Rockies have won 2, tied one of the contests. The Diamondbacks have come up winless. They will see each other a bunch this season. Let's take a look at the Colorado Rockies starting lineup, and as always, brought to you by our good friends and partners with Taco Bell. Decisions to be made on these top 2 guys. We'll talk about it. Eric Young and Jonathan Herrera, decisions within the next week. The veteran Marco Scudero joined by Ramon Hernandez. He's had a huge impact. What a spring it's been for Todd Helton. Jordan Pacheco trying to stick at third. We spoke of Tyler Colvin. What will the future hold for Dexter Fowler this year? And Jeremy Guthrie will wield with a bat in his hands. tell us a little bit more. We'll start with you, Gracie, on this side about Patrick A. Corbin, the 22-year-old left-hander.
Well, certainly opened some eyes this spring, and that's what he came to do. He knew he was not going to make the club unless there were injuries, but boy, as he opened some eyes and then some. A tall left-hander, a hard thrower. He throws strikes with 3 different pitches, and you can see guys just don't like hitting off him. Only 184 the entire spring.
He has had a fabulous spring. Kirk Gibson compares him to Paul Goldschmidt of last spring. Defensively, let's take a look at how the Diamondbacks go to work with the Gold Glove of Gerardo Parra, Chris Young, and Justin Upton in the outfield. The infield of Ryan Roberts, sure-handed John McDonald with his old partner from Toronto, Aaron Hill. Lyle Overbay plays first today. Goldschmidt with the day off. The veteran Henry Blanco, 40 years old, behind home plate. Catching Patrick Corbin, technically could kind of be a son and a dad playing catch when you talk about the battery mates there. 22-year-old and a 40-year-old behind the plate. And you know that if a ball ends up out there, it will be caught. The rangiest outfield in the game last season. And of course, you Colorado Rockies fans know that is mandatory playing in Coors Field as well. Well, Jeff and Gracie and I certainly glad to have you with us. Drew will join us here for the second half of the contest. We trust your day has been a good one. Let's play some spring training baseball as the first pitch is low. 1-0 the count to Eric Young Jr. His dad looks on from the dugout. Hit 247 in the major leagues a season ago. This spring hitting 278. And he is a guy, Jeff, that has to open some eyes, even though his dad's eyes are wide open over the next week or two. They've got a decision to make.
They do, and he came into camp knowing that he had to put up good numbers, over 270, but playing more outfield now than he has in his past career. He came up as a second baseman, playing a lot of center field, left field for the Rockies this spring.
3-0 is the count for Corbin. He does not walk anyone in the minor leagues. He hasn't walked anyone this spring, and he gets into what is very dangerous territory because this young man, as he strides to first base, including minor leagues, has 378 professional stolen bases.
You think he learned a little bit from his dad?
And a lot differently, if you ask me. Eric Young wasn't a flyer, so to speak. Senior. Eric Young Sr. just got great jumps, knew the pitchers, and he was a smart base stealer. Whereas Junior is just a flyer. He has some of the best speed in baseball.
Speed to burn. I mean, he can take off, even with the bad jump, and outrun the baseball.
Off speed, misses into another gentleman and another guy that's getting a good long look, Jonathan Herrera.
Yeah, Jonathan is Mr. Utility Guy. Anything that Jim Tracy wants him to do, he's able to do, put him in a spot. He calls him a professional ball catcher because you you can play him at short, second, third. You can run him to the outfield if you had to, knowing that he's going to catch the ball as a switch hitter. Dealt with some personal issues with his mom last year. Unfortunately, she passed away this winter, and I know that weighed heavily on his mind. But he came into camp in great shape, and he's looking good so far.
Does not find the strike zone. That is 6 in a row that has missed out of the zone. A visit from Henry Blanco. Again, Corbin last year in 160 and a third pro innings in the minor leagues. Walked just 40 while striking at 142. He's been all over the plate this spring, too. This is a departure from the norm. There it is, right down the middle. 2-1 the count to Herrera. Been in this organization for a decade.
Now you've got speed at first base, a guy that handles the bat well in Herrera. Jim Tracy might be thinking of putting something on here.
Jonathan's a perfect guy to do that. But with Alan Trammell calling the pitch outs and throw overs and such, you know that that's going to be on their mind.
I like it in this situation. I don't think that Corbin wants to throw ball 3 here with a pitch out, so I think he's going to try to throw a strike. Let's see if Tracy's doing anything.
Corbin doing a nice job not panicking for a young pitcher in this situation.
But if I'm a base stealer now, he's thrown over, he's done the step off, I'm saying he's going home.
So far, a pretty safe lead for Young at first. And he stays put. That one is high. 3-1.
Also, I think Jim Tracy realizes that the young left-hander Corbin is all over the place. So why run into a possible out in the situation if he's just going to continue to throw ball 3 and ball 4?
Herrera has not walked this spring. He's hit 385, on base of 385. Runner goes now into the catcher's mitt. It goes. Throw down with the tag. They got it. A reach back and a tag by McDonald. Henry Blanco's at about 40% in his career. So you get a strike you get an out, and you get a pitcher maybe with some more confidence now.
Well, and it was a ball that was also tipped by Jonathan Herrera, so you have to factor that in for Blanco. But the swipe tag to get Eric Young Jr., who was trying to go outside the baseline and do the flyby, and then reach back for it with his left hand, but the tag was spectacular.
Bouncing ball, and just like that, this inning, guys, has a totally different look.
Well, and that's what we were talking about just prior. In a 3-1 count, what you're doing if you're Jim Tracy, you're sending the runner, and you are trusting that Herrera has the ability to either take ball 4 or put the ball in play somewhere. Well, he didn't do either, and because of that, they run into an out, and now this inning is pretty much shot.
And it gives the guy on the hill much more confidence.
So the 22-year-old with clean base pads goes to work against another veteran in Marco Scudero, a young man that's not so young anymore. He worked for 7 years in the minor leagues till he finally got a shot in the big leagues. Utility player, played his way into a starting role the last few years.
Yeah, it was with Oakland, then he went to Toronto and to Boston. But he's going to be a key part, because if Troy Tulowitzki doesn't play a day, he's going to try to run out there 155 games. But if he doesn't play, you can move Scudero over to shortstop and play Jonathan Herrera at second base if he makes the team, or whoever, Chris Nelson, if he's going to be the utility guy. But Scudero gives you that flexibility to flip-flop over onto the left side of the diamond, which is pretty rare.
Slider right down the middle, got him looking. Both sliders were up in the zone. That's why they didn't look good to Scudero, but they were strikes. Jeremy Guthrie getting ready to clock in against the rivals from Arizona. Text alerts for breaking news, programming info, and updates. Here's the deal. Text FSAZ to 36929 now. Message and data rates, well, they might apply. We welcome you back to the bottom half of the first inning. The Diamondbacks and Colorado Rockies with Gerardo Parra, Aaron Hill, and Justin Upton getting ready to go against Jeremy Guthrie, the 32-year-old Oregon-born right-handed pitcher. For Kirk Gibson, we mentioned the top three. Let's take it on down. Chris Young's had a heck of a spring, hitting over 400. Lyle Overbay trying to get it going. Gibson talked about some changes he has made. It's Ryan Roberts, Henry Blanco, John McDonald, and Pat Corbin, who in the minor leagues was a pretty darn good hitting pitcher. Lineup's brought to you by Taco Bell. Here is Jeremy Guthrie out of Stanford. Jeff, tell us a little bit more about him.
Yeah, former first-round pick by Cleveland, and he came over in the trade for Matt Lindstrom and Jason Hamill. The thing with Jeremy is he's deceiving. He throws harder than what you think. He is a guy that will sit anywhere from 92 to 95 with some heavy sink, and that fastball, it's a sinking fastball. He loves it. That gets him to his sliders, to his changeups. Very few curveballs, but he doesn't need that as much, I think, pitching in the National League compared to what he was doing in the American League East, having to go up against the Boston, the Tampa Bays, the New York Yankees every third start.
Parra drives that one into right center field. It's down. It will roll all the way to the wall. Thinking about 3 right away, we watch Parra. That one is fired back in. The relay, the slide, a triple for Gerardo Parra. Had a pair of doubles this spring. He now has a triple to add for it, and he has been motivated the entire spring. You talked about the battle between the 3 coming on the air.
Well, Jason Kubel certainly has put a fire into Gerardo Parra. He had a terrific year last year, a career year, if you will. You can see it's a changeup on 2-1. He just stays back beautifully, lets the ball travel, and just drills it into the right center gap. And he's thinking 3 all the way. And with no Troy Tulowitzki out there to be a cutoff man, a lot of guys might decide to go ahead and go for 3 today, because Troy Tulowitzki, he may have been thrown out if Tulowitzki's out there for the relay today.
Well, what Troy does is, even a ball hit in the right center field, he'll be that first guy that goes out there. And to your point, that time it was Scutaro instead of Tulowitzki.
Little different arm strength.
It is, and we'll see how that plays out then during the regular season.
Defensively, the Rockies straight up for Aaron Hill, right in his kneecaps, and he hops out of the way. There's that life on the fastball you speak of right away.
Late life, and it comes out of the hand. You pick it up as a 4-seam fastball, but the last 20 feet, it darts.
33 games with the Diamondbacks. Hill hit .315 last year when he was acquired from Toronto. Into the dirt it goes. And Ramon Hernandez keeps it right there. Well, right away we see Hernandez work. He's another guy. You see Parra out there at third, Hill trying to drive him in. But Hernandez saving that run. A nice acquisition, a nice decision.
I like that one, Jeff.
A veteran guy. And the Rockies have missed a guy like that. Remember Yorvik Torrealba a few years back. That passion, that energy. That's not to say a knock on Chris Iannetta. They're just different personalities. But Hernandez is giving you that spark.
The play is at first. And the Diamondbacks strike first. They lead it 1-0. Kirk Gibson made it clear, guys. We have to improve in this situation that we just saw. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. The Diamondbacks struggled last year in that area.
And Darren, you're right. They struggled mightily in that area. And that's all it takes right there. Just a little bad handle job, ground ball to the left side. And that's just an RBI. That RBI will be there for the rest of your life. Your batting average goes down, but the RBI total goes up, and that RBI never leaves.
It's a freebie.
Yeah.
Put it in play. Just hit it on the ground. They're playing back, giving you that run.
Just put it in play. Play Pepper with somebody on the infield, and you're going to give your team a 1-0 lead.
Justin Upton with 12 hits this spring. 4 of them doubles. He's also walked 8 times. There's the man that earned himself the RBI in Aaron Hill. Pounces that one into the dirt. Looked like a good changeup there.
It was a good changeup. He's got some good life on the changeup as well. It's almost got the same exact action as the fastball. It's just about 10 miles an hour less. And Jeff, you've gotten to know Jamie Moyer this year. He's in camp. He's probably going to make the ball club for the Rockies. He's 78 years old, and it's good to see him back out there.
He's as old as we are.
But he always said that he needs his change, and that was a real beautiful play there.
From a knee, hopping back up. Helton can't dig it out, so Upton is on. Scutaro made as you said, accurately a beautiful play behind the bag at second. Upton reaches in what probably will be a spring training base hit.
Well, first of all, to even be able to get to the baseball, that was a great play by Scutaro. But when they start to water the dirt down here in spring training, they overwater it because it gets so hard later on in the ball game. And when you plant and make a dive, you come up with dirt and mud in your hand. And he went to go throw that. I guarantee you he's looking at his hand trying to rub that mud off of it because he didn't get a grip on it.
Well, I think doing just that.
I think also what Scutaro did, I think he just got in a little too much of a hurry right there. I don't think he needed to stay on his knees and throw that baseball. I think he could have gotten to his feet, made a solid throw, and still gotten Upton by playing.
As hard as it was hit.
Exactly.
Well, that's I'll tell you what, that is a tough spring training error right there.
Well, just to make the play in the first place is amazing. But if you ask me, and Jeff, you were a middle infielder, that's an error.
It's a play that he'll make.
Okay. Yeah, throw it to first base in the air. That's all. That's all he had to do.
Breaking ball misses outside to Chris Young. Defensively for the Rockies, E.Y. Jr. is in left field. Fowler is in center. And Colvin in right, so a lot of range out there. Jordan Pacheco is at third. Herrera, Scudero in the middle, the Gold Glover many times at first, and Todd Helton. Ramon Hernandez behind home plate. Colvin can play some center field as well, correct?
Yes, he can. And he's a guy that has to be able to play center field, to play left field, to play right field. I saw him taking ground balls at first base today, too. He had his first baseman's mitt. He played a few games there with the Cubs last year.
I don't know if he's athletic enough to start playing first base.
Not on an everyday basis.
Okay.
Not like you.
Jury's still a little bit out.
You've got to have some range. You got to quick feet over there.
Get used to this, Jeff. Poor Darren's been with it for a while now.
I
played with you for a year. I know what it's like.
For 5 years, I've been told that's where the best athletes played first. The 2-1. To the right side, Chris Young made a change in his approach at the plate, and it's been paying off. An article written by Nick Piccaro here locally documented the fact he's holding his hand a little bit higher, trying to flatten out his swing in the zone, and most importantly, Gracie, use the whole field.
Boy, what a gorgeous hunk of hitting right here. Watch how far he lets this ball travel. He lets it get in almost to his back leg before that bat gets through the zone, and he just swats it right by Todd Helton. And with the speed adjusting up, and that's an easy first to third, and that's going to set up Lyle Overbay for an RBI opportunity. As now it's time for a meeting on the mound, this time veteran to youngster, Hernandez and Guthrie.
So we saw Don Baylor a moment ago. We will hear from Kirk Gibson here in just a moment. We will hear from Don Baylor. We will also hear from Eric Young, all with Diamondbacks ties, and the last two with Rockies ties as well. As Groove, as they call him in the locker room, managed the first ever game for the Rockies, that game in which Eric Young homered. Where were you at Mile High Stadium that day?
Well, Don was our manager with the Cubs.
With the Chicago Cubs, he was our manager.
Veteran Lyle Overbay ready to roll. Hit 286 when he was acquired last year. Released by the Pittsburgh Pirates, just picked off, honestly, off the scrap heap, and had some big hits down the stretch.
That he did, and he's kind of the mentor now for young Paul Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt's going to get, I would probably imagine, 9 out of 10 games over there, but Lyle's a guy that can help Goldschmidt as far as his positioning, maybe teach him a few veteran savvy type things over at first base defensively, and teach him a few things about these guys pitching as well. And there's another productive out as we speak.
Gibson talking before the game about his team rolling into too many double plays, Overbay being the biggest culprit. So Overbay puts it in the air. Again, there's another productive out. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. That's twice they've made Gibson happy.
Well, and what's a pitcher trying to do? He's trying to get you to roll over on that ball. So it's a sinker away from the lefty, the changeup. But if you stay on the ball, thinking opposite field, you're able to drop the barrel and get those sac flies.
I think also Darren and Jeff, I think Kirk Gibson's got to be happy with what he's seeing in the first inning. He gets a leadoff triple. Sure, that's all fine and good, but then also you've gotten just a little ground ball RBI, and well, he's not going to be real happy with that. Now all of a sudden a pickoff, and Eric Young's not real happy with the call over there, but that'll end the inning, Darren.
That will end the inning. We'll hear from Kirk Gibson. We'll find out how happy he might or might not be about it. We'll be joined by the Diamondbacks manager right after this. fans in both states. Kirk Gibson, the Diamondbacks manager, joins us down in the dugout. And Gibby, first things first, you spoke early in spring about productive outs, or at least getting that run home from third with less than 2 outs. It happened not once but twice in the same inning.
Yeah, that was good. We got a couple guys over there, got them in. We haven't swung the bats very well this spring, but as of late, I think guys have picked it up a little bit, and we got a little too passive in good counts, early counts, and maybe trying to stand the ball a little too much. But we like the fastball. We want to get the head out there. And, guys got on. We got him in last inning. And actually, Patrick last inning got some trouble and held the guy close enough, EY Jr. over there. And Henry threw him out, and then the inning went quickly. That's what we work on. That's why we do it.
Well, it's important for you. If you're going to pitch or play for Kirk Gibson, you're going to be a part of keeping runners close at first and second, correct?
Yeah, we like it. Just we have different sequences. They've been working on them daily. There's just different situations. We want to just don't let them be comfortable over there. And that was the 3-1. It's very tough as a base runner you have to make sure the pitcher goes home so you're not going to get as good a jump. And Patrick had about a 1-2-7 there, which is good enough for Hank to make the good throw.
Hey, Gibby, it's late March now. Guys are starting to sniff the barn, if you will. How do you keep these guys motivated for another week?
Well, I think they're hungry, number one, and try and keep it somewhat light. We do a lot of walkthrough stuff in the morning. What we found out when we do it, we have meetings, we do videos, we talk about it, then we go out on the fields, and it's walkthrough, half-speed stuff. And we see it happening in the games, and we like good results in the spring. We haven't had as good results as we like. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of things that we've been working on, elements of the game that we know that's going to come into play in close games throughout the season. They've been very good at that.
Ramon Hernandez flies to center field, gives way to Todd Helton.
And Gibby, Jeff Houston with the Rockies, and we were talking before we came on the air, and I was telling Gracie and Sut here that I just remember you going into second base, trying to take me out, playing the game the right way, but playing it hard, and just watching your club the last year and a half, 2 years, they've really taken on your personality that way.
Well, I think just as a coaching staff, we sit down and we kind of think things out. What's our philosophy on certain things? We had a pre-meeting, pre-practice meeting on breaking up double play about 3 days ago. It's just, some of the times you just have to reaffirm what you're trying to do down there. It's not that you're trying to hurt anybody, but you want to slide late. You want to get up into them. I got my goal, and I want the team's goal to be that the middle infielder cannot go over top and get to the bag, towards first base. Gets to throw there a lot quicker. If they step off, we were talking off the air before, if they step off, that's fine. If you make them go one way or the other, you've done your job.
Hey, Gibby, with the addition of Jason Kubel, I know that you've been asked this 1,000 times, but I'm not asking you to give me a decision. But what I am, you have to be impressed with the spring trainings that Parra and Chris Young have had. You have to be.
Oh, no question about it. But we knew that would be the case, and that we would, have additional depth. So if somebody goes down or somebody's nicked up, and I'll do some matchup stuff with all those guys. Parra has certainly played better than he has the previous spring. We knew he had a great year last year. He's a great weapon for us defensively. So it's my job to get those guys all involved, and I will do that. I promise you that.
Are you good with Parra in center field from what you've seen if you need him out there?
Yeah, he's going to get some more playing time. He'll move over there today at the end of the game. We'll, down the last week or so here, going to give him some more time in center field. Just his routes are just a little different. It's just a little different cut out there. He's outstanding on each corner. Give him a little more playing time out there, and he'll figure that out. He's just had a great spring for us. Great attitude. In here early this morning about 6 o'clock doing his workout. Great teammate as well.
Finally, Gibby, with fans watching in both regions as we share this telecast, kind of a chance at home for those that aren't here to celebrate this facility. It makes not only the Diamondbacks but the Rockies better organizations that they're able to share this facility, doesn't it?
Sure is. A great place to come to work, and all the players understand that. It's fan friendly. I know on our side, when I come down and sign balls here along the wall, they're full already. Certainly something that we promote. And just the environment and in general, the way it's all laid out, and then to come in here and play a game in this arena, this forum, it's just almost like a great stage and just a great atmosphere for everybody. And that's what spring training is all about. Get a little closer. It's serious, but we're still working on things, and we get a little up close with the fans, and it's a great experience for everybody, and we're certainly honored to be here.
Kirk Gibson, thank you very much for your time.
All right,
Take care,
guys.
Gibby.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Love doing that. It's one of the perks of spring training. And we will hear from Rockies leaders, players, personnel as well, and also the Arizona Diamondbacks. What's your takeaway? You guys jump in. Anything that you heard that you found interesting? 1-2 the count on Jordan Pacheco.
I just can't wait to watch Parra in center field, because we saw as a Rockies team playing the Diamondbacks all the number of times we did last year, Parra and his arm in left field was way above average.
Oh, it's an amazing weapon. It's an amazing weapon, and you know, and I know, Jeff, that when you've got a guy like Gerardo Parra out in left field, any base hit to left, Rich Dower, the third base coach, is going to have to put his arms up.
Stop him.
You stay right here. You know, it's not the guys that you throw out at the plate necessarily. That one's skied out to shallow center field. It looks like Aaron Hill going to go out there and make the play. 2 down. I'll take that, Darren. Thank you very much.
Well done by you.
But it's not so much throwing out runners. It's making a third base coach put up the stop sign. Now what does that do? It keeps the double play in order.
Well, the Rockies have it with Carlos Gonzalez in left
Exactly.
field. You throw those two left fielders with their arm, it's hard pressed to find anybody better in all of baseball.
It's very true, and it's such a weapon that the Rockies and the Diamondbacks have, and just great arms in right field and left field.
Tyler Colvin looks at a Corbin breaking ball that misses outside the slider.
And Jeff, you're a big fan of Corbin, aren't you?
I am. I just look at him and see what he's able to do. Tyler Colvin changed his hand position from last year, more resting off his shoulder than where he had him previously. More of a straight arm, locked out position.
Is it because he feels like he can get to the ball quicker that way?
Quicker. You know how it is. In 2010 hits 20 home runs his rookie season. So what do they ask him to do? Well, let's hit 25 or 30.
Hit 30 now.
Yeah, and what's a young man going to do? He's going to, I've got to try to pull every single ball.
Next thing you know, you're on the bench or you're in AAA.
That one's belted to left field, well struck, sending Parra back. He is shy of the track where he puts that one away. We thank Kurt Gibson, talking Diamondbacks and Rockies as we roll on here. 1-0, 2-0.
Your Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details.
Thank you, Gracie. Well done. Jeremy Guthrie is completing his warm-up tosses. Youngsters enjoying a gorgeous day. Had a chance to sit out beyond the right field wall yesterday with some families and enjoy this ballpark. Both these teams share it, and they're fortunate to be able to get prepared for the championship season of 2012. Welcome you back to Scottsdale, Arizona. The Diamondbacks lead it by a score of 2-0. That's 2-0 over the Colorado Rockies. Ryan Roberts takes a pitch over the outside corner, strike one. Ryan with 9 hits this spring, hitting .205. 3 of the 9 hits, long balls. We've seen Jeff Blum play a little bit of third base. Kirk Gibson saying before the game, Ryan Roberts is my third baseman. But Blum might play 2-3 times a week on occasion.
And just think back to last spring training. Roberts was the guy that almost didn't make the club.
He wasn't supposed to make the club. Only an injury to Jeff Blum allowed Ryan Roberts to be the quote-unquote 25th man on the squad.
Another diving stop by Scudero. This time the dig is there from Helton. And a fine play there. I tell you, Scudero, you said how solid he is defensively. He's backed that up for you.
Take us through this one, Jeff.
Think about the play he tried to make on Justin Upton back in the first inning. He dove, tried to throw from his knees. That time, as you mentioned, previous inning, Mark, is that he stood up and fired the baseball to top.
And got it across to Helton, who's one of the best in the business, best of all time at picking that ball out of the dirt.
3 gold gloves.
Henry Blanco off the end of the bat. It's a fly ball into shallow left field. Eli Jr. charges in, and Eric puts that one away. It sailed over the head of the third baseman Jordan Pacheco and into shallow left field for Pacheco. A move made just a moment ago by the Colorado Rockies that says we feel like we have enough in Jordan Pacheco, and the Casey Blakes had a tough spring. Your thoughts?
Well, it's a little shocking in one sense that Casey was supposed to be the guy that held the seat warm for Nolan Arenado. But he came in, only hit 150, missed some time with the neck. It was not related to his previous neck injury. But they decided he's not going to make the club. Let's cut him loose, give him an opportunity to maybe hook on with somebody else, because Casey Blake's a professional.
One of the really good guys in the game.
He works hard. He does everything that you could possibly ask. But it does tell you, though, that Nolan's not far, but they like the bat of Pacheco. Chris Nelson has come in and done everything that they've asked him to do, so he might be the starting third baseman. Maybe Jonathan Herrera. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you can go to, and more athletic than Casey Blake.
Yeah, and once again, folks, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, it is. There's not much you can turn that hand back.
Exactly. It happens to everybody.
He's fought back pretty good.
I'll tell you what, he's been on the ropes a couple times, but he's come back and maybe dropped Father Time a couple of times.
And of course, there is a 49-year-old that makes a start tomorrow for the Colorado Rockies. It may debate that.
Coming back from Tommy John surgery.
On the ground, a very solid bounce back inning for Jeremy Guthrie. He gets Roberts, he gets Marco, he gets McDonald. There's the Todd Father. Arizona leads it 2-0. Jeff Houston, Mark Grace, Darren Sutton, and of course a couple of pitchers we may see later on. Craig Breslow, according to Kirk Gibson, expected to work a couple of innings. Mike Zagurski trying to stick with the organization as a left-handed reliever, probably in AAA, and Brad Ziegler, part of the Arizona bullpen. But right now, it's young Pat Corbin. And a good changeup way out front with a swing and a miss. The number 8 hitter today, Dexter Fowler.
Well, a little bit of a difference from where Dexter has hit this spring and where he hit last year and the second half of the season. Projected to be the leadoff hitter or hit number 2 behind Scutero. Today hitting 8th. Dexter's working on something. He came into camp with the leg kick that was very successful for him last year. Created some power for him. But his swing, it wasn't gelling. So he's gone to more of a lower leg kick, or not. I don't want to say a toe tap, but just lift it up, bring it back, get your weight on that back leg before you decide to go.
Not quite so much Dante Bichette.
Yes.
You're welcome, Rocky fans. You're welcome.
Even Matt Holliday. Remember Matt Holliday
yeah.
would bring his knee, seemed like all the way up to his chest area.
Go ahead and coach Carney Lansford a moment ago. On the ground, that's a Sunday hop on this Tuesday afternoon. McDonald shoots it on across.
Take a look at the side swing from Dexter Fowler. This is what you want. It's not a bad swing. He was beat on the ball up,
which is disappointing on a 3-1 count.
Wouldn't you try to get the barrel of the bat out more? But it wasn't a complete lunge where he's too much out onto his front side, had nothing left to hit from.
Yeah, most hitting coaches and managers on a 3-1 count, especially when you've got as much talent as Dexter Fowler does, they want that ball hit a little harder than that. 3-1 count on a bell-type fastball right down the middle. It's going to be an easy play there for Corbin. What's your take, being an outsider, Jeff? What's your take of the youngster Corbin?
Well, I like his arm action. A guy that has some movement on the ball. Slider's a little flat, but that's to be expected because he's still coming up from AA last year and is a guy that's going to start in AAA. Needs to refine that, but to be able to get 2 or 3 left-handers in that trade for Dan Herron and the Angels, that speaks volume of the scouting department and those guys to see the potential in Corbin.
And also, I think it shows you just how badly the Angels wanted Dan Herron as well.
My.
To give up three top
guys.
Prospects.
There's a game a couple of days from now in which the Cleveland Indians are visiting the Diamondbacks, and Tyler Skaggs will start that game, and Trevor Cahill will pitch in a minor league game. Now it's the Indians. There's no strategy involved like trying to hide them like he's doing with the Colorado Rockies. Bunted to the right side. A nice play. Gibson wants to see Skaggs in the major leagues and Corbin in the major leagues because both of these guys, according to the skipper, are ready and knocking at the door.
Maybe Jim Tracy will want his guys to maybe drive it in the gap.
April 7th with some of sports' biggest names on their new teams. Albert Pujols and the Angels. Prince Fielder and the Tigers. Yeah, plus the defending World Series champion Cardinals headline the debut of Fox Saturday Baseball on April 7th at 12:30 Pacific right here. And of course the Giants and the Diamondbacks as well, only on Fox. It was a gorgeous Scottsdale, Arizona day, wherever you may be. We trust you're enjoying your day. And we thank you for spending a few moments with us this afternoon. Getting close to opening day. We welcome our entire audience back. 2-0. Arizona leads it. The Diamondbacks have jumped out to an early lead. And Mark Grace joining us up here along with Jeff Houston. And downstairs, the young left-handed pitcher Drew Pomerantz joins us. Drew, first of all, thanks for taking a moment. Got a couple of Diamondbacks guys and a Rocky guy to make you feel comfortable up here. But so far for you, what has the experience been like this spring in big league camp?
It's been great. Coming from last year, they told me right off the bat I didn't really have a chance to make the team, and this year was a completely different experience for me.
Yesterday, 4 innings, fabulous work against the Angels. Talk about what you did well yesterday.
I wasn't as efficient as I would have liked to be, but I really didn't have my changeup, and I still was able to go out there and pitch well with 2 pitches and get outs when I needed to.
Is that something you learned from last year coming up in September, is how to pitch without having your best stuff, because you missed some time with the trade and how you were sitting in limbo, then the appendectomy and all of that, and you didn't have the arm strength when you came up to the big leagues?
Yeah, I knew going out there every time I really didn't have the stuff that I had the entire year, and it made me really focus on pitch location and just trying to throw strikes and stay ahead of hitters.
How does your leg feel today? You've missed a start with the sore muscle. Does it feel okay today after throwing 85 pitches yesterday?
Yeah, it's a little sore. It was never anything that was going to keep me out of pitching during the season, but just some precautionary things. But it feels a lot better than it did that day it was sore.
2-0 the score. Arizona leads it. 0-1 the count on Gerardo Parra.
Did that cause any of your side work to be skipped once you figured out, okay, there's nothing else, no more damage I can do to it?
Not really. I was only pushed back about 3 days, I think, and I threw 2 bullpens in between instead of just 1. So I was still out there getting off the mound throwing.
All right, Drew. Mark Grace of the Diamondbacks. First of all, congratulations on having a great spring. How much time have you spent with the old man, Jamie Moyer, this spring?
I've actually spent a lot of time with him.
I had a feeling you would say that.
It would be dumb for me not to go out there and just try and soak up as much as I can from that guy who's been playing 20-plus years in the big leagues. And I think his locker was stuck next to me for a reason. And I went out there first day and asked him to be my throwing partner all spring training, just because I want to be around him as much as possible and learn as much as I can from him.
Well, Drew, he's older than me, and I'm 47 years old, okay? So you're picking a pretty good guy to get info from.
Well, and he's also a guy that one time early in his career was more of a hard thrower, and then went back to a soft thrower, changeup guy, and then as he worked with the grip and showed you how to hold the baseball, etc.
Yeah, a little bit. He's a good guy just to play catch with. He's big on starting your day, throwing. Starting how you're going to throw it starts out with simple things like playing catch, and so he's always giving me little pointers here and there just to keep me on track.
Drew, we thank you for taking a moment. Congratulations thus far. Enjoy the rest of the campaign this year.
All right, thank you.
Best of luck to you, young man.
Thanks.
23-year-old Drew Pomerantz spending time with a man that is 26 years his senior, and Jamie Moyer. I love what he said. They put him by me for a reason, but I'd be a fool not to take advantage.
Well, good for him, because many guys today come up thinking they have all the answers. Why not
learn?
Never,
ever have all the answers.
I agree, but too many guys come up and say, hey, okay, that sounds great and everything, but I'll do it my way because it worked for me in the minor leagues or in college.
Todd Helton.
I got a couple of ex-wives that have all the answers.
I'm not going there, Gracie.
Oh, I did. It's okay. It's okay.
So we seamlessly move along to the pop out to the right side as Upton is erased. Do not want to overlook that Pat Corbin, as Pomerantz, another left-hander with his skipper looking on, enjoys today. Corbin working today, though, also with the bat. He led things off with a single. Good athlete. Gibson talks about the athleticism of Corbin. The other kind of unwritten rule for the Diamondbacks is if you're going to pitch for the Diamondbacks, you have to be able to use the bat properly. Not just hit, but at least bunt.
Well, I go back to the late 80s New York Met teams that had a bunch of pitchers that could hit. Dwight Gooden, Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez, David Cohn. They could all hit. And they all took a lot of batting practice over the course of the season. And they all said, hey, if you're going to be considered an out, why not be a tough out?
Slow breaking ball. Boy, he did some pitching. Had himself in a jam and worked right out of it. Single, then 3 outs in the air. And at that point, the overly aggressive Arizona Diamondbacks. There's your hitter this inning. and, of course, Rockies fans. The man who coaches at first base, Eric Young, joining us down in the Diamondbacks dugout. I'm sure for a lot of Rockies fans, still hard to see him in anything but purple. EY, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Miss you guys.
I want to get right to the outfield defense that you've seen. Let's start with Jason Kubel, because I think he's the one that came in with an incomplete report card. Go ahead and give him some grades. Have you seen what has maybe been better than advertised defense from the veteran who came over from Minnesota?
Definitely have. I think Jason would be a guy that, is probably, he don't have the range as a power as some of the other guys because of the speed, but as far as what's going to be important for him is positioning himself, making sure he's in the right position to make the play. And when he gets a chance to make a play, you're going to see probably a good fundamental guy that come up and fields the ball and also throws it straight through the cutoff man. So I don't know why he got that tag. I guess because he DH'd a lot in Minnesota and didn't really get a chance to play the outfield. But I think he's just going to be fine.
EY, you're also in charge of the base running. How do you feel the base running's been this spring?
Well, I think it's been a lot better lately. and I say that last.
Was that your fault that Chris Young got picked off over there at first base?
I'm always going to take part of the blame, Grace, because I'm over there with him talking to him. But that was the first time we was able to see Guthrie's move. And now we know in the report card that he has a tremendous move over the first base. So I wrote it down. So I definitely, now if it happens during the season, Grace, then I'm in trouble. Because I didn't give him the info right.
Well, he had the info. Now he knows himself.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, EY, Jeff Houston.
Hey, Jeff, what's happening?
How you doing? Hey, I want to ask you, who's faster, you or Junior? I'm not talking about right now. Back in your prime, when you were able to run a little bit faster.
Well, I always tell Junior now from A to B. That's from first to second base. I got him. I was quick. I was quick. But no, as far as faster, it's definitely him. When you talk about the best analogy I can give you is we both hit a triple. I'm probably sliding head first to get in there. He's probably standing up, turning around, looking at where the ball is at. That's the difference. I mean, he has tremendous speed as far as definitely going the distance and going around the bases. I think from A to B. You know what? I take it back. That's my baby. My baby's better than me. Yes. He's
but all joking aside, I know you two are very tight, but I'm sure you do talk about base running and stealing and proper leads and how to get that jump and reading pitchers.
Well, we do. Pretty much, I'm able to see things, and I teach them like I teach my boys. I said, hey, I'm able to see things maybe differently than you do. But you have to pick up something that's your trigger point, that allows you to go and to make that jump as fast as possible. Mine may be quick at times, yours may be quick at a time. But what we're able to do is when we both look at something, we both pick up something a little different, which is good. So he studies very well. He studies the pitches very hard, and that's what you want your guys to do, and that's what the Diamondbacks are doing as well. So we do talk about it. We do talk about, we might not talk about, my Diamondbacks, but, as far as somebody else, oh, yeah, I will give them the information in a minute.
And you must be very proud to see what he's been able to accomplish because this is a game that you have to do a lot of things on your own. And Eric Young Jr. has done that.
Well, definitely. He's grown up as a player. Right? He's learning what it takes to be a major league player. A lot of guys get up here and don't really know what it takes. And he's been around the locker room a lot. He came in and bothered Gracie a lot in Chicago.
Oh, man. Remember when
you were running around?
He was about 10 years old. Always bothering me.
Yes.
Like an itch. It was like an itch.
Yeah.
But he's definitely mentally into the game and aware of what's going on. And hopefully that can only help him. It's just a matter of time before really things come together for him on this major league level.
Eric Young joining us down inside of the Diamondbacks and inside of the dugout. EY, when we look back on the birthplace of baseball in the great state of Denver at the major league level, there were early days down below you behind Charles Nagy was your old skipper. Do you and Don Baylor ever, and I know you have a job to do every day, but I would imagine for Rockies fans, they still reminisce about opening day at Mile High?
Every now and then we talk about it, especially with Bob Gephardt coming in the locker room and talking about it as well, talking about our experiences with the Rockies in the beginning. But you know what was so special about that particular day?
your outfielder getting a good first step.
Was yes, definitely. But the most important thing, that it affected not only people in Colorado, but in that region that was just waiting for a home Major League Baseball game. And at the time of what happened opening day, didn't really know how monumental it was and how many people felt so strongly about it. But when you think about that, that was the start of a bond that goes on to this day. As far as, all the original Rockies and the Rockies fans.
So finally for you, I think the distant fan would think, well, Gerardo Parra has the move made. Kubel comes in. He's going to come in with his tail between his legs. He's not going to have the same work ethic. You're, I think, here to tell me it's been the opposite.
It's been totally the opposite. Last year Parra came in and he said, I want to be the best player I can be. This year he came in with an attitude. He said, I want to do whatever it takes to help us win. And when you think about an individual coming in with such a positive attitude and it's showing in his spring play, definitely, I'm sure Gibby will find a way to get him in the lineup, because this guy's been red hot. And you know what? When you get a little competition like that, you push the others around you. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing our guys respond to the challenge, each of those outfielders.
Thank you very much, EY. Eric Young got things started for the Rockies a long time ago now, taking care of the outfielders for the Diamondbacks.
Mini plan. Choose from games against the Cubs, the Giants, the Phillies, the Cardinals, they're the world champs, the Brewers, and more. Call 602-462-4600 or visit dbacks.com/tickets. That's some big-time games.
Yeah, some great games and a great pack to put together if you're a Diamondbacks fan. Arizona leads it by a score of 2-0. They certainly have seen Pat Corbin settle in. Folks enjoying the contest from the shade of the seats or in the sunshine out there on the grass. We welcome you back. 2-0 is the score. The Diamondbacks on top of the Colorado Rockies, and joined by a man who is slowly but surely not only amongst the Rockies fans, the National League West, but all of baseball, a fabulous story. Juan Nicasio, back from a very serious injury a year ago and doing really solid things this spring. Juan, first of all, just talk about your spring, how proud you are to be back healthy and strong, and how each day has just been special for you out here.
Now I'm working hard. I'm feeling great, and I'm pitching good now. I'm feeling the same day before. Everything is same now.
Now you're going to pitch against Cleveland on Thursday. Is that, how many pitches will you throw that day in preparation to start opening week?
Yeah, today I threw like 45 pitch. And throw like last time I threw like 96 pitch. I'm ready for 100 now.
And how's the slider coming along?
What?
Your slider.
Yeah, I'm better. I'm working hard. My breaking ball and my changing, my slider. Last time I threw good slider. I'm feeling good.
Just 25 years old, Juan Nicasio. Again, if you didn't hear the story from last year, last August, hit by a line drive. Very scary. Ended up having neck surgery. Juan, how did you continue to push, not only to play baseball, but just to get healthy again from what you went through and overcome all your fears?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Everything is same. my body. I'm working hard every day. I know I'm feeling different in my mood and nothing. It's hard, you know, so I'm feeling good.
Well, that's good that you're still confident out on the mound, because I think a lot of people would be driven by fear, but you're not concerned or scared out there anymore, are you?
No, it's a good question. A lot of people, he told me, sometimes, no, I want to throw in the game. He's land drive close to me, but he told me, hey, you scary? No, I'm not scared, you know. No, every time the ball hit me in my hand, I play for 5 years, never hit my hand the ball, you know.
Well, we appreciate it, and best of luck. Have a good rest of the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck,
Thanks,
young man.
Juan Nicasio. I mean, you think about coming back from that.
You know,
to me, the fear factor, he's already pushed that aside.
And it was scary. I was at the ball game that night, and to see it all happen and see him fall, and the medical staff, the job that they did, and the vertebrae that he broke in his neck, the odds of one either, unfortunately passing away or being paralyzed, those were two big factors, and he's able to come back and overcome that and be pitching again in the big leagues. I remember this first spring training game this year. The very first batter or second batter hit one back over his head. How is he going to react?
Right.
Next pitch was 95 miles an hour. He was not afraid.
Made him upset. Good. That's good to hear. It's like, it's like a hitter getting hit in the head by a pitch, having to come back and face your fears.
It's easier said than done.
Exactly.
Hopping back on that horse.
Taking 2-1, the count to Henry Blanco. His battery mate certainly has settled in while we were doing some interviews down in the dugout. What is that, 8 in a row, sat down by Corbin now? He's looked very good.
Yet to give up a hit here this afternoon. And after a little hiccup in the first inning, Jeremy Guthrie's been awfully good as well. Beautiful slider there on the outside corner to even the count 2-2.
It was his breaking ball that got him out of trouble in the third inning with a couple of runners on. Spun some fabulous ones.
Some sliders, some curveballs, got over on the top a little, and got the weak fly balls.
It's an interesting study when you talk about velocity. That one is popped up right side. Helton will get together with Scudero. And Scudero makes the play for the out. Because when you throw 94, 96, he's touched 97, you would think the strikeout numbers would be immense. But they're not. I mean, in his career, he's not known as a strikeout pitcher. He's a hard thrower, but not a strikeout pitcher.
Well, and there's a difference because does he throw hard with a lot of movement at the end? He's got heavy sink on the ball. But those, when you go to swing and it moves at the last instance of Gracie, you see it as a hitter, and then you end up reaching.
Exactly. He misses the barrel of the bat. Yes, he doesn't strike you out as much as you might think a guy throwing in the mid-90s, but he's tough to square up. And you can see it today. He's given up 6 hits, but he really hasn't been squared up other than maybe a couple of times.
Early in the game. But we see that from numerous pitchers. The first inning, they're trying to find that release point. It's different than the bullpen. Right.
Another beautiful off-speed pitch right on the button. 0-2.
Kirk Gibson was saying before the game today with regard to Guthrie that sometimes being traded gives you a burst of oxygen to your career, a new perspective, and he said he expects big things. Gibson does as an opposing manager out of Guthrie.
Well, he started 3 out of the last 4 years. He was the opening day starter for the Baltimore Orioles. I mentioned he was a former #1 pick, so he had something 10 years ago that somebody saw in this guy, and to come over and get out of that atmosphere, it was big.
Into right field, McDonald with the base hit. Here comes the throw to the plate with the slide. McDonald in the second, he's in there. A single and an RBI. Robert scores sliding. John McDonald, who played at 22 last year, drives in a run, and Arizona leads it 3-0.
Oh, nice piece of hitting there. Really a mistake there from Guthrie on 0-2. He tries to go inside. He doesn't quite get it there. He leaves it middle in. And all McDonald does is just kind of swat it the other way. A little humpback line drive right out in front of Corbin. And all you young outfielders, hit the cutoff man. You missed the cutoff man. Safe at home. Safe at second base. Another runner in scoring position. So a mistake there by the youngster. and a lesson learned there by the youngster as well.
Well, and the final piece to that puzzle is the pitcher comes up with 2 outs and you flip the lineup
That's
over
exactly right.
moving forward.
It's a huge hit right there by McDonald.
Corbin takes a curveball that dips out of the zone. Pat Corbin singled back in the 3rd inning to start the inning off. Parra followed, but then 3 big outs in a row by Guthrie. Belted left field. That will roll all the way to the wall. Corbin's 2 for 2. 7 career hits in the minor leagues. Is he thinking about 3? Corbin standing up with a triple, and don't you know his dugout loves it. He is a Gibson kind of guy, and Kirk Gibson with Pat Corbin 2 for 2 today.
Doesn't he know he's a starting pitcher? He's supposed to stop at second on that and save his energy? Well, he doesn't know that because he's young.
Why? Yeah.
Because he's young.
He says, I only have 1 more inning to pitch. I'm going to leg it out.
No, he's not running like a pitcher there. He's running like a young Jeff Houston right there.
Stand up, no less.
Wow.
Into the dirt, and let's see what his skipper thought of it. He's a favorite. He's a teacher's favorite.
Gibby really works his pitchers hard on trying to make them better offensive players, more dangerous offensive players. And I'll tell you what, young Pat Corbin's doing nothing today to hurt his chances of making this ball club somehow, some way.
I always think, why not if you're a starting pitcher? Is that it could be the difference in a manager taking you out for a pinch hitter or saying, I'm going to leave him in. He goes an extra inning, extra 2 innings. He has a chance to get the win now instead of a no decision.
Popped up and into the seats it goes. And that's discussed a lot. And there were several times when Gibson made almost questionable decisions last year from up here. It's easy to see the game from up here where he'd leave the pitcher in to hit, and the pitcher would reward him.
And then that just builds on itself. I'll leave him in again.
And then also on the flip side, Jeremy Guthrie was 1 pitch away from putting a 0 on the board here, but instead makes a bad 0-2 pitch to John McDonald, ended up getting an RBI base hit, and then makes another bad pitch to Pat Corbin. Now all of a sudden it's a 4-0 game instead of a 2-0 game. It's just such a small margin for error in baseball. You're 1 strike away from a 0. Instead, you're sitting there with 2. Now you're begging for your life to get out of this with just 2.
You miss your location by 2 inches.
That's it.
You wanted to go inside with the fastball to McDonald. Inside corner instead.
Big time pitch there to get out of it.
Slider down and in under the hands of Gerardo Parra, but a big inning offensively for Arizona as they played a pair. 400 this spring and against the Cincinnati Reds. Showed his worth again. Helton with a pair of long balls here in this ballpark, getting ready for yet another season. Todd Helton bumped that slugging percentage up 100 points a season ago. And it was a good day if you're a Rockies fan. I'd love to get the perspective on the continued growth and the evolution of a player as he gets older on Todd Helton from man in the other dugout. Don Baylor joins us. And first of all, Groove, thank you for joining us. And every hitter goes through ups and downs, especially later in their career. You've watched the evolution and you've worked with the evolution of Todd Helton. What are your thoughts on the veteran?
Well, Todd has just been an exceptional student of the game, hitting. I just remember when he was a rookie, I put him in a hitting group with Larry Walker, Galarraga, and Dante Bichette.
Mercy.
And the one thing that he could do, he could line that ball to left field with anybody. So I just told our instructors, leave that kid alone. Just don't try to change his stroke, because what happens a lot of times, everybody thinks about the pull feel. I mean, he had the hitting the ball to left field, kind of like Don Mattingly did. And the more they played, the better they got. They understood how to pull the ball, but it would have been a mistake just trying to get him try to pull the ball.
Does this organization, meaning the one in purple across the way, will it always have a piece of your heart? I mean, the story of you having lunch in Coors Field when they were building it, talking about the wind patterns that you would deal with. Part of your memory is always going to be with the organization in the other dugout.
Oh, yeah, until the game starts, and that's about it. I'm over here with the Diamondbacks. I look over there and see all the fans that they had, all the players. I remember I was a solo guy over there at one time, and I was the only person in uniform for the Rockies. Bob Gebhardt and I were running around all over the state trying to sell the club, but it's been a great ride for their organization. And you're looking at 20 years coming up, and it's kind of hard to believe they're 20 years old. So it's just something that I really cherish, and I don't mind being associated with that organization.
You've been a manager's Groove. You've been a hitting coach. What are some of the things that you're trying to incorporate this year with some of your hitters? You know these hitters now. You've had a year under your belt with them. Are there any things that you've maybe changed this year, or is it pretty much the same thing you've always done?
It's some of the same things, but some of the changes that hitters have to make. I know CY. If you see
right
what he's doing,
his hands
are up a little higher. He's shooting that ball to right field. I told him it'll open up the entire field for him, and that's what he wants. I know he hit a ball to the right side, and Todd Helton said he wasn't expecting it. So they've been playing him on the pull field for so long. It'll open up the field for him. We're trying to do the same thing with Ryan Roberts too. And not just think about homers. Homers are going to come, and the evolution of. You're talking about hitters, you'll have the same thing with Justin. He's just a natural talent, and he's just a wonderful guy. All those guys are great to work with because they all want to work. You have Kubel comes over, and he's a guy that he has tremendous power the other way, so I'm not changing that.
Groove, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
Don Baylor joining us. Drew Goodman with the play-by-play call. Rockies fans, he will take us home.
CactusLeague.com for online local sports coverage you cannot find anywhere else. Check out the Cactus League page with exclusive coverage and updates of the D-backs and the rest of the teams. Plus, hear what mic'd up Matt Williams has to say during practice. Really? It's all on FoxSportsArizona.com. Matt Williams.
Sure, Matty has a lot of good things to say. Another packed. What did I jump into here? No?
Hi, Drew.
What's happening?
Well, yeah, you jumped right into a no-no, it looks like.
And Jeremy Guthrie's first pitch to Aaron Hill is in there for a strike. 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Thanks to my good friend, colleague Darren Sutton. He's already home in the pool by now. Told me
how do you walk out of a booth on a no-hitter?
I mean, you can't leave a no-hitter, can you?
He just did.
Well, that's my partner.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you guys had told us that Patrick Corbin was throwing the baseball well. I think you understated it a little bit.
Well, this is the first time that I've seen him pitch live, and he just, first of all, he's just got that beautiful left-handed frame that he's tall, he's lanky, looks like the ball comes out of his hand well. Obviously, he's throwing the ball well, but he's also got an RBI triple and another base hit as well.
He's done Little League.
Exactly. He's dominating Little League right now.
Nice play by Jordan Pacheco to get Aaron Hill, one gone. Justin Upton will be coming up. He's been extremely impressive, and one of the things I know you guys look at is, are there loud outs? There haven't been any loud outs, really.
Not really, not at all. There's one ball been squared up against Corbin really all day, and when you see Todd Helton take some awkward swings, that's when you know that a guy's got pretty good stuff, because Todd Helton rarely takes bad swings, especially against a guy that has pitched and never pitched above double A ball.
I look at the Scudero ball that would hit to left field. That was the only one that's been hit hard off of Corbin.
He has been impressive. That Dan Herron trade. Listen, I know they say in baseball that you want trades to work out both ways. No, you don't. You want the trade to be one way. Herron's a great pitcher. He's done a marvelous job with the Angels. Joe Saunders turned some things around last year. If this kid contributes, now that trade starts to look really pretty solid from Arizona's perspective.
And Jeff and I had talked about it about 3 innings ago. It just shows you just how badly the Angels wanted Dan Herron. They gave up 3 of their top pitching prospects to get Dan Herron. Dan Herron has been terrific for the Angels, and it looks like the future's awfully bright, especially now it's getting to the upper level of the minor leagues for those 3 left-handers that the Diamondbacks got in return for Herron.
And you know what? You got to credit the scouting department, the development department with the Angels, because they continue to crank out arms. Not only the 3 guys that you mentioned, Gracie, but the Rockies pick up an arm they love, Tyler Chatwood, who's kind of a bubble guy, but he's a puppy. He's 22 years of age in the Chris Iannetta deal.
But that's to your point, 4 or 5 arms that have left that organization. So they've got other guys behind them, or at least you think they would.
And when you're in the situation like the Angels consistently are, now they're in a dogfight, it seems, every year with the Texas Rangers. But somebody that can maybe take you over the top and make you an elite club. And I think right now the Angels are an elite ball club. And they're a team that, along with the Rangers, that you have to think that it's gonna be one of those 2 teams to, I think, represent the American League in the World Series.
I would agree with that.
I know all you Yankee and Red Sox fans are upset with me right now.
But either. That Pujols guy?
Yeah, he's not bad.
No.
And I don't think, Gracie, there's going to be a huge adjustment period. People say, "Oh, go from one league to another." We make too much of that.
Well, I think
with number 5, certainly a little different.
With him, it's not going to be a problem. It's like Manny Ramirez when he came over to the Dodgers a handful of years ago and just dominated. If you're a great hitter, you're a great hitter no matter who you're facing.
But I don't think there's the disparity between the 2 leagues anymore like there used to be. It was considered the National League was more of a fastball type of league, and the American League was more of a breaking ball league. I don't see that anymore.
I don't either. I think you're exactly right. It's changed a lot over the years. There used to be, even back when we were playing, Jeff, there used to be American League umpires and National League umpires. Now they're all just Major League umpires. So they always said that the American League zone was smaller than the National League zone. Well, it's just not the case anymore.
2 outs, Lyle Overbay at the plate. Chris Young draws a throw.
Well, Drew, tell us what you think of this new acquisition on the mound for the Rockies, and that's Jeremy Guthrie.
I'll tell you what, I really, we've seen him a couple times this year. I like that he takes a baseball and he throws it over the plate. He says, give me contact, put it in play. I want to get quick outs. He's very athletic. And the other thing,
and you don't say that about pitchers very often, do you?
No, he moves around well. He tried to drag a bunt his first time up, and he throws harder than I thought he did. I don't know what he's been sitting at in this game because I was downstairs watching with the family, but the last outing he started out 97, 97, 96, and I double checked it with scouts, and he worked at 95. Where's he been today?
He's hung around the low to mid 90s.
Yeah, he's
Jeff?
93 to 96, but sitting probably 94.
Yeah, he can kind of cruise at about 94, which is impressive.
Young will shut it down at third on the opposite field double by Lyle Overbay.
Also, Drew, even though Jeremy Guthrie is still young, as we watch Overbay flip it the other way for a double, but what's impressive to me about Guthrie is even though he's still at a young age, he's still in his mid-20s, he's got a lot of experience. And what I mean, he's pitched in the American League East. He has looked A-Rod right in the eye in Yankee Stadium. He has looked Big Papi right in the eye with the bases loaded in Fenway Park and dealt with those. So there's a lot more experience to a guy his age than maybe most others in his situation.
Well, Huey, of course, played for the Orioles, played in Camden Yards. Gracie, I know you played in Camden Yards as well. This is in the air, pretty deep right field. Colvin's going to move back, and he loses the baseball. Just flat whiffed on it. 2 runs are going to score as Roberts stops at second base. He did the hard job. He made a great break on the baseball, good route to the baseball, and now you wonder if they're trying to find where the sun is, see if that was a factor.
I
take it, Jeff.
Watch, he gets his glove caught in his jersey.
That's exactly what happened, Jeff. Watch his glove hand, folks.
He doesn't reach up because it gets caught.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I've never seen that.
Never.
He pulled his jersey out. Fortunately, he didn't take that in the face.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the kind of play.
Wow.
That's the kind of play. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. You want to have happen on March 27th,
yes.
not April 27th.
You're doggone right. You are doggone right. And he's going to, trust me, he's going to find a way to get that jersey somehow a little tighter to his chest.
He's going to have to go the football way and put the 218 tape on the jersey.
Well, he's got to work on tucking it in now.
Yeah, tuck it in there, son.
I have never seen that before.
Never.
I've seen guys step on their cleats or catch their spike on a shoelace and trip that way, but I have never seen a fielder catch his glove in his jersey.
And Drew, you're exactly right. Make sure it's March 27th, and not when it's really counting.
Jeremy, still trying to figure it out.
Jeremy Guthrie won't be mad at him in March. He'll be mad at him in April. I can't believe what.
And you see the whole jersey came out. Can you imagine the sick feeling he had? What's going on?
Oh my God! I can't move my glove.
And you said it too when you on your call, Drew. He just whipped it. he still hadn't touched that baseball, but now at least he's got a good reason why.
Yeah, that was wild. Come to the park, you never know what you're going to see. Henry Blanco gone on a breaking ball. 2 more runs for Arizona. They've been in complete control. 6-0 D-backs. We'll go to the 6th. Tyler Cole and say, yeah, you know what? I put the uni on this morning and was talking to Glenn Allen Hill. That's one you probably never had to explain before, huh?
Well, I was in the right position, but then my glove got caught.
Exactly. And Glenn Allen Hill, as far as a right fielder, he could hit. As far as playing the outfield, Glenn Allen was a really good hitter. Exactly, he was a power hitter. I always said the definition of you've heard of the term catch 22. Well, that's what happens when you hit Glenn Allen Hill 35 fly balls. but he was.
Remember that home run he hit in Chicago?
Oh my goodness, they still talk about that one. He hit it on the roof of the homes in Chicago. So Glenn Allen Hill, he certainly understands maybe a little gaff out in right field.
Dexter Fowler will lead off. 5 no-hit innings for Patrick Corbin. Attaboy, and you move on because it is March 27th. Craig Breslow, another left-hander, will take over. For more on Breslow, once again, here's Mark Grace.
Well, Craig Breslow is a guy that came over from the Oakland A's. He came over. The Diamondbacks gave up a lot. They got him along with Trevor Cahill, who's going to be in the starting rotation. Craig Breslow, kind of out of nowhere, a real smart guy. You don't say that about baseball players very often, do you, Jeff Houston? He's a smart guy. He's an Ivy Leaguer, and he's a guy that's had very good success in the American League. So you always think usually these guys that come over from the American League, more of a hitter's league, I guess you could say. And he's had good success, so he is on the ball club, barring some kind of an injury. This guy is going to make the ball club, and you're talking about also a left-handed pitcher. 2 years ago, the Diamondbacks had no left-handed relievers. So now, along with Joe Patterson, he's going to be the second lefty in the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen this year.
It gives Kirk Gibson flexibility to be able to use Patterson maybe in the 6th or 7th or Breslow, however he wants to work it, and still have a guy left for the 8th inning when you're having to face that one tough left-handed hitter.
And also, fellas, Joe Patterson is more of a left-handed specialist. He's a sidearm lefty that really shouldn't even face right-handed hitters because right-handed hitters hit him very hard last year. Breslow's a guy that has had very good success against right-handed hitters in his career.
Well, here are the 4 in the pen. At least competing for jobs. I don't know what more Patrick Corbin can do.
I was going to say he's not in the pen today, and
but
he's dominating as a starter.
But you need to have him stretched out.
Sure.
Down in the minor leagues in case somebody goes down.
Yeah. KT's going to have some tough decisions to make. Kevin Towers. There's a strike on Guthrie. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jeremy. He has always built his big league teams around strong bullpens. You think back to the work he did in San Diego. That is a foul ball.
And
of
right.
course, 2 years ago, before he took over, you had to watch it every day. The Arizona bullpen was a disaster.
It was one of the worst bullpens in the history of baseball. Since they started keeping statistics, it was the 3rd worst in the history of baseball. And Kevin Towers, once he took over, he said, that's going to change. I'm going to get rid of some guys, and I'm going to bring some guys in that can get people out late in the ball game. And that's a big reason. When you've got a good bullpen, boy, these pitchers are doing some hitting, aren't they, guys?
Look who breaks up the no-no. Jeremy Guthrie. 3rd hit for a pitcher in this ball game. Of course, Patrick Corbin went Little League on everybody. 5 no-hit innings, threw out a single and a triple.
Just a fastball in. He cuts it off nicely, doesn't he, Jeff?
Yeah, and shortstop McDonald got to the baseball, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Jeremy Guthrie running hard down the line.
Well, Drew, you said he was a good athlete, and he certainly showed it there, not only with the ability to hit, but he was getting down the line pretty well, too.
Got a problem with the popcorn there, Gracie?
Evidently.
Well, now the hits are in bunches. Rockies breaking out. Eric Young Jr. with a double to left field. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Somebody go tell Sud I messed up the no-no.
Well, right now
you'd have to get him from the pool.
I was going to say he's probably got a daiquiri and some shades and maybe some copper tone on right now, as you see. Just rip down the 3rd base line, and all it takes usually is that first hit to get the boys going.
A short, compact swing from Eric Young Jr. stayed on top of the ball.
Well, whatever happens with Eric Young, this is a guy that was a late pick, and he has a tremendous work ethic, and he's trying to find a position he's comfortable with defensively. He's played almost primarily the outfield this spring.
Yeah, he has that one ingredient that you cannot teach, and that's speed. We were talking with Eric Young Sr. a few innings back about Eric's speed.
And the old baseball cliche, speed never goes in a slump.
Johnny Herrera at the plate on a contact play with Cargo up a couple days ago, Gracie. He scored on a ball, Jeff, that it was a good throw to the plate, but it was slightly up the first base line. I mean, just slightly. I don't think there's
no.
5 other guys in baseball that scored that run. Just because he had to reach a little bit and then sweep tag, EY beat it.
That was Sunday's ball game. I was surprised that he even went, because that's how close the third baseman was playing, and Eric took off right away, slid to the outside plate. It wasn't close. He didn't even have time to sweep back and tag him before he was dusting himself off, getting a cup of water.
And all that is just tremendous baseball instincts. He's got them, and once again, you can't teach the instincts. And he knew not only to get a good break on the ball, but also with the beautiful slide to score safely.
Johnny Herrera, fellas, remind you of anybody, Jeff, that perhaps you played with? To me, he's just a baseball player.
He is. He's a guy that a manager does not have to worry about.
And Herrera, because I don't understand that. You played first base forever. Ground ball to Overbay. You're up 6 runs. Go get the out, right?
Well, he was trying to get the out, but unfortunately, his pitcher, Breslow, decided, well, I'm not going to get over to first base. Breslow, oh yeah, okay, all right, cool, yeah, well, guess what? Now you got the bases loaded, Mr. Breslow. And that might be one where Lyle Overbay should have just gone to first base, cover the bag, because the second baseman was right there to make the play. But
even though Guthrie took 2 or 3 hard steps like he was going home, just get the out. Remember who's running at third base.
Yeah, and also right there, I really think Guthrie should have been scoring on that.
Yes.
Because you're not going to be trying to get that out at the plate in a 6-run ball game.
Yeah, see what Breslow didn't break, but I was watching Overbay, and Overbay's eyeballing Guthrie at third. Not on, again, first of all, I don't know what, to your point, I don't know why he didn't break, go on contact, and secondly, I don't even know why he's looking over there.
It was just a really crummy play all the way around.
It was a play on March 27th, much like Tyler Colvin last half inning.
Yeah. Bases loaded now for Scutero. And Scutero with a base hit to left. EY's going to score. It's a 2-run single. And Marco Scutero's hit the ball hard twice today. And Jeff Houston, that's good to see. Not that you worry about a veteran that has consistently put up solid offensive numbers, but he has not had a great spring offensively.
No, hitting below 200 coming into the game. And 36, a guy that has many plate appearances. But as a player towards the end of spring training, I don't care how many years you played, how many at-bats you've had, you still want to start ramping it up towards opening day.
Exactly. It's never any fun. I don't care how long you've been around, to go out there and just continually make outs. You want to go out there and
compete.
And even if you've got 10 years in the big leagues or more, you still, if you find yourself going a couple of weeks without doing anything, you start to lose some confidence, even as a veteran.
Ramon Hernandez is at the plate. Brendan Harris is in the ball game, pinch running for Scutero. There's a veteran Harris. And that pitch tails away. Tell you, when a catcher comes to a new organization, even a guy that's been around a long time like Ramon Hernandez, there is always a ton of work to do. Getting to know an entire staff and some of the guys that may be involved later on in the year. This ball hit to right field right at Upton.
I'll tell you what, right now Breslow hasn't missed many barrels of the bat. That ball was scalded off the bat of Hernandez. It's a loud out and a much needed out for Breslow.
Two gone, and Hilton will come to bat here. I'm sure you fellas talked about it earlier in the ball game, but one of the most impressive things I've seen this March from a Rockies perspective. 38-year-old Todd Helton leaving the yard to left field, and I mean, it wasn't a wall scraper.
And that was after he had pulled the ball to right field for a home run earlier in the game.
And this ballpark, this new beautiful ballpark, it is a big one. This ballpark plays very big. It is not a home run field at all. And to go the opposite way, as you said, with about 25 feet to spare, is very impressive by Todd Helton. You kind of run out of superlatives for him, don't you? You guys have been covering him for all these years. Drew, you've had him since his very first game. I mean, you just run out of great things to say about guys like this.
He's amazing. He is one of the truly great hitters of his generation. Looks under this one a little bit, just a smidgen.
He just missed it, folks.
Chris Young tracks it down. Rockies break up the no-no. They get a couple of runs on 3 knocks in the inning against Breslow. 6-2 Arizona.
You get a lower level bleacher ticket, a regular size hot dog, a 24-ounce Pepsi, and a free bottle of Pepsi Max, all for just $19. The D-backs Pepsi Max value pack is available for every home game this season. Every one of them. Call 602-514-8400 or log on to dbacks.com/value. Okay, exhale now. That was a long one.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Very nice. That was mid-season form. That was July 27th. That wasn't anywhere close to March 27th. Back at beautiful Salt River Fields with Jeff Hughes and Mark Grace. I'm Drew Goodman. It is 6-2 Arizona. The story of this ball game, Patrick Corbin. 5 innings of no-hit baseball. Brandon Wood will take over for Todd Helton. He got 3 ABs today. Todd's afternoon is complete. And Marco Scudero, who hit the ball hard a couple of times, including a 2-run single last inning, has been replaced. We saw it on the base paths by Brendan Harris. Jeremy Guthrie is going to continue his afternoon. John McDonald out of the 8 hole will lead things off for the D-backs. And the fastball at 91 is in there for a strike. John McDonald's another one of those guys, just keeps on trucking along, doesn't he?
This is a good pickup.
He was a good pickup. Along with Aaron Hill, he came over for Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson headed over to Toronto. You know, really, John McDonald is, you just really don't hear a whole lot about him because you're almost anymore playing in obscurity when you're in Toronto. It didn't used to be that way. But now you just don't hear much about the Toronto Blue Jays unless they're hitting a bunch of home runs. But he is a guy that's tremendous on the defensive side of the ball. Never been much of a hitter. A guy that's going to, hit you in the low 200s. But, boy, he can really, really play the position of shortstop. And you need a guy like John McDonald with the injury to Stephen Drew.
That misses away, 3-1. Jeff Blum has come out in the on-deck circle. He'll hit for Breslow. And McDonald turns on one, lobs one to fairly deep left field. Eric Young's got to play chase. John McDonald has himself a leadoff double. Jeff Houston, do you think a pitcher, given the fact that he is facing a team in spring training that he will face undoubtedly several times during the season because they're in the same division, and assuming most of the guys, other than a John McDonald, he's seen Guthrie because they played together against each other in the AL East, will not reveal his hand? He's going to get his work in, but he's certainly not going to maybe fall into a pattern that he would in a regular season ball game?
Well, I think so, especially this late in spring. If it was earlier in spring, it could be a different story. But at the same time, Jeremy's trying to get his pitches where they need to be and refine the changeups and the sliders. But I don't care who you are, what color uniform you're wearing, that when the competition starts, some of that gets thrown out the window because I want to try to beat you.
Absolutely. These guys are competing. And even though it is spring training, even though this doesn't go on the back of your baseball card, you're still going out there. You're trying to get people out. And if you're not pitching well, if you're not hitting well, you're still unhappy. Even though it doesn't count, I know it doesn't count. You're getting your work in, quote unquote, but you still want success.
Down first base line foul for Gerardo Parra.
But I have seen clubs and different hitters and that or pitchers, I mean, that would not pitch this late into a spring training against a team within your own division. And Randy Johnson, I know, did it. We were talking Kurt Schilling's another guy.
They would never pitch against, for instance, the Giants are out here in Arizona for spring training. Randy and Kurt would never pitch against those teams because they didn't want to tip their hand, even though these guys were both, at the time, 12 and 13-year veterans and probably faced Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent and Rich Aurelia, guys like that, probably 75 times or more. They still didn't want to tip their hand in spring training. That's how you get over to first base if you're a pitcher, Joe.
That's how it's done, huh? 2 outs as Parra grounds to first. Josh Renicky is getting loose in the Rockies bullpen. Aaron Hill will come to the plate with a runner at third and 2 outs.
That's Brian Shaw throwing for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You guys like cut fastballs? You're going to see a cut fastball from him. And it's one of the better ones you'll see.
When you first broke in, you don't go a day now without hearing about a cutter. When you first broke in, both of you guys, did you talk about cutters much?
No. The sexy pitch when we were coming up through the ranks was the split finger or the fork ball. The split finger fastball was the one. And then what the split finger did, it created a lot of surgeries on elbows is what it did. So now the sexy pitch is the cut fastball. It's a much easier on your elbow, on your arm, and it's the same release as a fastball. It's no different at all, is it, Jeff?
Mariano Rivera, that's all he throws. And all the saves that he has.
Isn't it amazing? Mariano Rivera. Think about Rivera. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he has never had an off-speed pitch. Not one. He never threw a curveball or a changeup or a slider. It was all either a straight fastball or a cut fastball.
Makes it easy on the catcher.
Right.
Okay. What do you want?
Jorge Posada could just sit back in the lounge chair. Exactly.
Well, every once in a while they'll wiggle the one and he'll throw a 2-seamer.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's a pitch that misses in. 2-2 on Aaron Hill.
But just about everybody has incorporated a cut fastball into their repertoire.
That's a good pitch. Why not? Late break.
Exactly. Break a lot of bats with it.
On the ground to short. Johnny Herrera with the short hands. So Jeremy Guthrie works a scoreless 6th inning. I'm sure his work now is done in a 6-2 affair. Diamondbacks on top of the Rockies. this Arizona afternoon. And she's having a blast. 6-2 Diamondbacks leading the Rockies. With Mark Grace and Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Our thanks to Darren Sutton. He's already made his way home. Hey, we want to talk about good eats before the ball game. And by the way, thanks for saving me that morsel of food.
Get here faster next time.
You guys are PIG picks. Tommy Bahama's down here, and I've gone over to Kierland Boulevard in Scottsdale and eaten there. Great,
big time food.
Great, 3 grades. Great restaurant, great food. They were kind enough to bring us by a spread today,
and some nice clothing as well.
I was late for the booth. I got nothing.
Well, you know what? Well, I got taken care of.
You live down here full time.
Well, you guys can't wear those Tommy Bahama shirts quite yet up in the Denver area.
Hey, we don't work 24/7 now.
We go on vacation.
Brian Shaw steps into the fray. Jordan Pacheco will lead things off for the Rockies. Pacheco has popped out twice. Once in foul territory. He takes a fastball for a strike at 91.
That's that cut fastball that we'll see, and he can run it up there anywhere from about 89 to even 94 with that late cut.
Hard one, hopper to short. Tyler Colvin will come up. He is 0 for 2. He's had a very impressive spring and has worked diligently on trying to find the stroke he had a couple of years ago at the Cubs when he hit 20 home runs, former #1 pick, and he has been one of the real, I don't want to call it, I think when you say surprise, it's almost as if you didn't have good or high expectations, but he has had a terrific spring.
I like to think rebound.
That's a great term.
Rebound from 2 years or from last year, because 2 years ago, 20 home runs, impressive. I was talking to Carney Lansford today around the batting cage and just watching the way that Tyler Colvin hit, as how he was a pull hitter last year.
Right.
Hence the 150 and the 204 on base percentage. Uses the whole field. You know, Gracie, go from left center field to right center field. If you happen to pull the hands in quicker, you can hit the ball out.
Well, especially when you're as big and strong as this young man is. And I think a lot of times too, when you get off to a slow start, then you start to press, and then you start to get yourself out mentally as well as physically, and then just what he should do is just, and I'm sure he's done this, and that is just flush last season. Flush
Nothing you can do about it.
Flush it and make it go away, and just start new. He's got a new lease on life, and I'll tell you what, talk about an X factor. You put this guy in the same lineup, and if he has success, and now you've got, along with Helton and Troy Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez, now you talk about a middle of a lineup. Goodness gracious, that's as good as any in baseball, if you ask me.
It's nice when you can give a Michael Kadire a day off.
Doggone right.
And that misses, so the count runs to 3-2 on Colvin. You know his locker is going to get blown up later. This is on the ground at second. Tulowitzki may be working on that right now. He may have a jersey with a glove attached, hanging.
That sounds like something Troy would do, right? Yeah, that never happened to Troy Tulowitzki, I can promise you that. He never got his glove stuck in his jersey.
That was something earlier. Never saw that on a baseball field before. He's going to make
at least at the major league level.
Yeah, and maybe the 8-year-old level. Glove got caught in the jersey, couldn't reach up and make a catch. 2 outs. Here's Dexter Fowler, first AB from the left side today. He has cut down Jeff Houston on his leg lift.
Well, he was bringing his leg too high, trying to generate even more power because he got stronger this offseason. So put more strength, a higher leg kick, that should hit the ball further. But it was causing too many problems, so he cut it down to it's just a lifting off the right leg to get the load onto the backside.
pulled to first, over Bay to Shaw. That's how you do it. 1, 2, 3 inning for Shaw. Stretch time at Salt River Fields on a gorgeous afternoon. 6-2 D-backs. Bottom of inning number 7. A lot of folks sticking around. Usually 7th, 8th inning, they start moving on to maybe the pool, that sort of thing.
Yeah, usually the lawn seating is kind of
been a fast game,
and the kids get to roll down the hill.
Can't do that. You roll down the hill, you're going to take out some folks. You're like sledding through moguls.
We lead the league in love.
That's okay. Diamondbacks right now leading on the scoreboard by a 4 spot. What's the matter, Huey? Can't speak?
I thought that was very funny.
Baseball makes everybody happy.
Well, plus it was just a 7th inning stretch.
You can't get a manager in a bad mood in March. Well, no, you know what? Let me correct it.
Everybody but Ozzie Gibb.
You get Ozzie a little hot under the collar in March. Or Mike Scioscia. Scioscia got run from a game last year, and then he didn't want to leave because it was a long walk, and he finally talked. Was it Rob Drake? He finally talked him into letting him watch from the bullpen.
Can I watch just out there?
So he had to walk down the left field line. Yeah, that's great. Well, the Rockies will bring in their closer this year, and he'll work in the 7th inning because there's some bats that typically you're going to have to face in a 9th inning. Justin up to Chris Young and Lyle Overbay. Rafael Betancourt. And he'll make his 6th appearance of the spring.
Yeah, throw the ERA out the window. I know people were saying, oh no, because he had a bad outing earlier this spring. And everybody wants to sit. I mean, he hasn't closed forever in his career. He got the second half of last year. They traded Houston Street away, but Rafael Betancourt still is refining that fastball and the location of it.
Well, he's just a good pitcher. He throws a lot of strikes, rarely walks anybody. And yeah, okay, you had a bad outing, big deal. He'll be just fine. Now, the one thing, anytime Betancourt takes the mound, and I think you guys know this as much as anybody, you got time to order pizza between pitches and get it delivered.
And he's moving faster.
Is he?
Yeah,
that's good to know.
That is good to know. We're going to move a little faster and go down to the dugout because there's a gentleman we want to talk to about a couple of subjects. Tyler Colvin's down there, the former Cub, joins us. Tyler, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
Okay, we're doing great. And now you don't want to start out with the bloopers, but you knew it was coming. Listen, you did something. The marvelous thing about this game, come to the yard. You never know what you're going to see. Tyler, I've never seen that before.
You know what? I've never seen it either.
Don't want to see it again either.
No,
right?
I don't. I'm going to make sure I tuck my shirt in a lot tighter now. And Pacheco said I should have just popped it up in the air and caught it barehanded. But, when a ball's coming at you like that, you can just kind of freak out and hope the glove opens.
Was it the top part of your glove caught in a button?
It was the back. So the back got caught, so I couldn't even open the glove up. It just hit directly on the back of the glove.
Was there that half a second of panic? Oh my goodness, I can't get my glove off.
I guess I can't wait to see the replay just to see.
Oh, it's funny, trust me.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
There you go. Hey Tyler, that aside, you've had a terrific spring, and I know the work with Jim Tracy, with Carney Lansford on your swing goes back to January at Coors Field after the trade. Take us through what you've been working on and trying to get back to where you were 2 years ago when you were one of the game's best young players.
Yeah, it's just working back to the other side of the field and not trying to pull anything, just knowing that that's going to happen on its own. I'm just going to react on some pitches and hit some off-speed pitches, pull side, but I just need to focus on going the opposite field and just let everything else happen.
And you also changed your hand positioning from last year, correct? More off your back shoulder instead of having your hands further behind your body.
Right. Well, to me, they feel a little bit lower, and they're already in like the position I want them to be at when I load. So it's not like I have a lot of movement going on. I want to be as quiet as possible.
Tyler, how about when you move to a new club and you're getting to know folks, and also you're battling to try to secure a spot? How difficult has this spring been from that standpoint?
It really hasn't been that difficult, honestly. You know, there's a great group of guys here that, you know, I feel like I've fit right in with them. I haven't tried to be anybody else. I could be myself, and, you know, maybe it was the first couple of days I was a little quiet, but, you know, I feel pretty comfortable now, and going out there playing baseball, it's just that. It's just playing baseball, and I'm just excited to be here and doing so well and playing with these guys.
I was just about to say, and this is Mark Grace with the Diamondbacks, Tyler. Congratulations on your first spring. It's easy to fit in when you're hitting over 400, isn't it?
I guess so. You know, I'm just going out there every day, and, you know, wherever they put me, hopefully I can do well out there and have some good at-bats.
Is there a position, because you play all three outfield spots, you're getting some work at first. I guess initially, are you comfortable at first base?
I am. I made sure this offseason I took a lot of ground balls there, you know, just in case. You know, I know I'm not the first option there, but it's just one of those things where I have to be ready whenever my name's called to go there.
Gracie does private lessons if you're ever interested, by the way.
I'll look into that.
Well, I was going to say, he becomes the best athlete on the field when he plays first base.
Where's your favorite outfield spot? Where are you most comfortable?
You know what? I have the most fun in center field just because there's more room to run, and once I get going, I'm fairly fast. But I'm really comfortable with all the positions. You know, in the minor leagues with the Cubs, they force me to play every position and get comfortable, because when you get called up, you never know. So,
were you shocked by the trade?
A little bit, yeah. But it was, you know, you got the new GM in there, and he wants his guys, and unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. But, you know, I'm happy to be a Rocky.
Good deal. Hey, Tyler, we'll let you get showered up and finish your day. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
Best of luck to you, young man.
By the way, I'm sure Tulowitzki already got to your locker, so there's probably a glove hanging off a jersey somewhere nearby.
Awesome.
Take it easy.
All right, see y'all.
Pleasant young man.
Yeah, good kid. Well, Betancourt has punched out Upton, and he just froze Chris Young.
Take us through this one, Jeff.
Yeah, but this is where Rafael Betancourt lives. Down and away.
That's a thing of beauty right there. That's just...
It just locks up.
Splitting his kneecaps
Chris
right to
Young.
the outside corner. Nothing you can do about
many
that.
Guys could hit that.
2 outs, nobody on. Lyle Overbay, who doubled to left in his last AB. 6-2 Arizona. They've out-hit the Rockies 10-4 this afternoon.
Stay on it. Go back.
He was a good sport about it too. That's one of the that's one of the neat things I think for fans when they get to know. Sure. You know, you have some new bodies with Arizona, and the Rockies have obviously a number of new players. I think it's great for the fans as they start to get to know the guys they're going to be rooting for during the season.
You know, at the end of the day, it's like it's embarrassing, but it's not like he dropped it.
Right.
It's not like he just got under it and whiffed it. As you said, there was a reason he whiffed it. It's because his doggone glove got stuck in his uniform.
Talking with
just
George
shows you they're human too.
Yeah, and just like that, he had the ability to smile at himself, laugh at himself, and talk about it. So you wish nothing but good things for young men like that.
This game will be absolute torture if you don't laugh at yourself.
You got that right.
1-1 on Overbay, and he got on top of a high fastball and drove it to right. That's a good looking swing by Overbeck.
Well, Lionel, back in his Milwaukee Brewer days, had a 50 double season. So this guy has been a productive player. He's the backup first baseman here, but you see, even at his older age, he can get to a chest high fastball, and that's about a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. He just rifles down the right field line. His third hit of the ball game. I'm sorry, his second hit of the ball game. He also added a sacrifice fly.
It's Willeen Rosario now behind the plate. Been some changes for the Rockies. Delta Cleary, I noticed, is in right field. Chris Nelson is in at third for Pacheco. Chandler Laurent is in left field. You guys remember your first spring training, what numbers you wore?
73.
54.
Hut. Oh.
Yes, that's basically what it was. I was caddying for Leon Durham, a longtime Cub first baseman, so I got to play about every 3 or 4 days for about 2 innings at the end of the. By the time they said now batting number 54, Mark Grace, we just saw everybody heading to the exits.
I had Spike Owen I was caddying for, Tom Foley, Tim Wallach.
Some good ones.
Yep.
Some cagey old veterans from the Expos. Now Washington Nationals.
Warren Schaefer's in the ball game at shortstop. There's Nelly. He's done a good job this spring. And Willeen Rosario has led the club in hitting at .464. Leads the club with 3 home runs. 2 outs, a man aboard. And that's a strike on Ryan Roberts. What a year he had last season.
And what you're talking about with the Arizona Diamondbacks, guys, is, in order to win 94 baseball games, you've got to have a lot of guys have career years. And about 7 or 8 guys for the Diamondbacks, pitchers and position players included, had career years. This is one of them in Ryan Roberts. He wasn't even supposed to make the ball club, guys. Instead, he goes out and hits 20 home runs. Plays a rock solid third base.
Where's all the pop come from, Gracie?
He swings really hard.
That helps. Huh?
I mean, he's not a big guy. I mean, he's one of those guys that just he's a pain in the backside for an opponent. He's one of those guys. He's fiery. He's tattooed from head to toe. He's
a fan favorite, though.
Oh yeah. Well, he's a guy that just gets under an opponent's skin. Last year, he took on the entire San Francisco Giants dugout. Down the first baseline. Nearly got killed. But he's just.
But that earns the respect of your teammates.
Absolutely, he's just one of those guys. If he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you can't stand him. And that's usually because he's doing good things on the baseball field.
And that's another good thing for Ryan Roberts. A line drive to left center field, and it's not handled out there by Chandler Laurent. And it's going to cost the Rockies another run. Lyle Overbay comes around. And there'll be an error, obviously, on Laurent, allowing the run to score. The only question is, will they give Roberts a single or a double? He doesn't care. He just hit a line drive.
And he takes a breaking ball and just rifles it. You can see just how hard he stays on that back leg and just buggy whips it out there. Now, whoa, uh-oh. Number 87. And that's just a lack of concentration. Took his eye off the ball, worried about getting it back into the infield instead of catching it first.
And he's in a big league spring training game.
Of course.
Throw the nerves in. But this is somewhat reminiscent of what the Diamondbacks did last year. And you think about the last 5 runs they've scored have all been with 2 outs. And all the come from behind wins that the Diamondbacks had last year. 47, really 48 come from behind wins.
And what those two out hits and 2 out runs do, it just demoralizes an opponent. And anytime you can too quick. I mean, Betancourt comes out and just puts a clinic on to Justin Upton and Chris Young. Then Base hit, base hit to right. Now all of a sudden you make a mistake, you hang a breaking ball, you give up a run, and it just you're one pitch away from getting out of the inning, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're still out there, trying to get this thing going. And also what it does, it not only demoralizes an opponent, but it just puts all kind of momentum in your own dugout.
Craig Tatum pinch hitting for Henry Blanco. Any big surprises in Arizona's camp?
I would say not really, other than the guy you saw today, Patrick Corbin. He throws 5 more shutout innings here to lower his ERA to just about 0. It's pretty much been what you'd expect. The one thing that the record hasn't been very good for the Diamondbacks in spring training, but the good thing is they've been injury-free. And I think at the end of every spring, any manager would tell you that's a successful spring training. But I would say pretty much the starting rotation's pretty much solidified. The bullpen is pretty much solidified.
There weren't a whole lot of questions coming into camp.
Exactly. There really weren't. Other than, whether Stephen Drew was going to be able to come back from that catastrophic injury he had last year. He's not going to be ready. It's going to be more like mid-May as that skied to left center.
He hit that in the wrong place. That's a 400-foot fly ball at least. Eric Young makes the catch. A run comes around. It'll be an unearned run. 7-2 Arizona. (7-2) Arizona leading the Colorado Rockies as spring training 2012 Cactus League style winds down. Joe Patterson, who looks like he's stepping in the first base dugout when he throws, will be aboard to work the 8th inning with Mark Grace from Arizona's television side, Jeff Houston from the Rockies television side. I'm Drew Goodman, and thanks to a good friend Darren Sutton, who carried the first 4.5 innings. Willeen Rosario will get his first plate appearance of the ball game. Ramon Hernandez caught the first 6. This is a young man who, you hate to say this, but he does have stardom written all over him if it all works. He's got top shelf power. He's got a ridiculous throwing. he's had a great spring. That ground ball to short, notwithstanding. One out.
How have his minor league years been?
Really good. I mean,
pretty much enough said then.
He's even made strides to me this spring. The way he's received the baseball early in the spring, there was a couple of pass balls that does he need to work some more down in the minor leagues? But he's cleaned that up. So that's going to be an interesting dilemma for the Rockies at the end of spring training.
And offensively, they wanted to see him identify breaking ball a little earlier and not chase out of the zone as he was doing a little bit last year when he came up. You saw the power. He hit 3 or 4 home runs, long home runs last year. He's one of those guys where you ooh and ah when you watch him take BP. There's a lot of 5 o'clock All-Stars, as you guys know.
Ooh and ahs, though, to right center field.
Yeah, I told this story on Sunday. EY with another sharp line drive, his second of the ball game. So a 1-out knock for Eric Young Jr. We were up in Peoria the other day. His final 12 swings of BP. He hit 10 out of 12 out to right center field. And I'm talking about they would have threatened the concourse. It was a joke.
Mercy. That's like Willie Mo Pena power.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Willie Mo Pena
in batting
was a 5 o'clock
practice.
star.
Exactly.
You want to be a star at 7 o'clock.
That's why I made sure to reference during batting practice. And, talking about the Rockies, and Drew, you always get on me every single year because I always pick the Colorado Rockies to win the Western Division. And I just think talent-wise, there's always a boatload of talent on this Rocky ball club. Now, it took a step backwards last year after being right there in the previous years. What do these Rockies need to do to get back to actually win a division title? There has never been a division title. Only 3 wild cards, but never a division title.
It's a great question. It's one obviously nearly 3 million fans who turned out last year are asking. And Jeff, from my perspective, last year I was as shocked as anybody. Everybody in that building, the beautiful facility down the right field line, they were perplexed also. This was a club I thought, and I know you did, Mark, also. You were on record as saying you think this club's going to win the division, chance maybe even to win in the mid-90s, where Arizona ended up. And it didn't happen for a myriad of reasons. This club, I think going forward, I think they'll hit. I think they're going to score runs. I think they'll play good defense. I honestly, with young and talented arms in the rotation, I have no idea. Because 2 of them, in my mind, have to emerge and blossom quickly, and then the Rockies can have a really good year. If we're talking here in July when we visit, and they've been up and down and inconsistent, the game hasn't changed. We all say it. It's a cliche because it's appropriate, and that is pitching wins.
Doesn't matter whether it's Little League, high school, college, or the pros. You have to have the horses, and that's what happened last year with Ubaldo Jimenez coming in. Whether he was in shape, not in shape, hurt, who knows? Only he knows. But then De La Rosa goes down with the Tommy John.
Yeah, that was painful.
That's 1-2 of your top 2 guys in all of baseball that don't come out and produce on the hill. So you're asking guys that should be 4th and 5th starters to try to fill in to be number 1s and number 2s. It's not going to happen, and that's what happened to the Rockies last year, and that's why they had to trade some of these guys because some of the draft picks have not hit.
Well, kind of a funky play there. Well, then I also read, and just forgive me for being an outsider to the Rocky organization. I know them just from the few times that the Diamondbacks get to play them over the course of the season. And I've always been a Jim Tracy fan. I actually spent some minor league time with Jim Tracy. He was with the Cubs coming through the system when I was as well. And also the coaching staff, a bunch of really good coaches as well. But I heard there was maybe a little bit of sniping last year, maybe down in the clubhouse. Is that true, or is that just fabricated stuff?
I think, and you guys are better able to answer this than I would, I think when you win, it's a good clubhouse. And when you lose, people say, the clubhouse wasn't good.
That's
Jeff,
very true.
Jeff, I didn't necessarily.
I didn't find it at all.
Live in the clubhouse, but we're in there early every day. I think it's a byproduct of losing. On Fox Sports Arizona, it's the Dan Patrick Show. Don't miss exclusive guests, including athletes and celebrities, breaking sports news along with pop culture commentary. The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays at 6 in the morning on Fox Sports Arizona. Also at 7 in the morning on Root Sports in the Rocky Mountain region. Rex Brothers is now on the mound for the Colorado Rockies, a guy that you will see late in ball games. You maybe see him close a little bit if the Rockies go on a little bit of a roll, and Rafael Betancourt's worked a couple days in a row. This young man can close. He's 95 to 97 on the left side.
He has got a great arm. You being a former left-handed hitter too, Jeff. These guys were just no fun at all. Big old dudes that throw really, really hard.
And he hides the ball so well. That's the other thing, is he throws 95 to 97 hiding it, so I pick it up in the last 20 feet, 15 feet.
Once it hits the catcher's mitt, exactly.
And you hear the umpire say strike. Oh, I missed that one.
A.J. Pollock is at the plate. This came in defensively last inning, and he bounces one to short. Nice job by Warren Schaefer getting his momentum going to the bag, one out. Just to finish that thought that you brought up, Gracie, last inning, I really believe when things don't go well, it's natural that there's fingers pointed and that sort of thing. And one of the areas that the Rockies want to get back to is having guys go out there and enjoy playing the game. It is hard. It's hard to have joy when you're 1 for 19.
Sure.
We all understand that. But if you can play with some of the...
Oh, my goodness. Look out, folks.
Uh-oh. Watch it.
Everybody's all right. Good deal. Those folks had gone for another beer. So nobody was in the front row.
There it goes.
It's tremendous bat toss.
That is one of the better bat tosses you'll see. I think everybody's okay. It hit a bunch of empty seats, thankfully. I mean, you helicopter one. That was a good 110 feet or so he got on that.
It's a good toss, the old bat toss. Bobby Borchering.
Yeah, if I had had this bat, talking about the pine tar on it.
Did you ever have any bat tosses like that?
No.
I think I might have. The only time I would be fooled out in front of a breaking ball and throw my bat at the ball once in a while, but that was on purpose. I never did that.
Yeah, but it would end up in the infield.
Right.
Did you ever use batting gloves?
Yes, when it was cold. When it was usually about 50 degrees was my cutoff. If it was under 50, and it was like that a lot in Chicago, Colorado, you get that way too. But if it was over 50 degrees, I shunned them.
And then after the game was over, trying to get all that pine tar off your hands.
Yeah, I used to have to take a wire scrub brush to get all, because there's a lot of pine tar and a lot of rosin, so it just caked on there. Yeah.
Rubbing alcohol works well.
Rubbing alcohol, yeah. Chicks didn't like me.
Just for that reason?
No, I didn't. No such thing as a soft touch with that.
She's trying to get it off her hands now. Pine tar.
Moving along. 2 outs.
Honestly, it would take me, Jeff knows, it would take me a good half hour to get my hands clean because of all that garbage on there. But
were you that way in the minor leagues? You didn't use batting gloves?
I didn't. I just never got used to them. Batting gloves weren't even popular when I was even in high school. I didn't start seeing batting gloves until my college days, and I put them on. I'm like, man, I don't really like the feeling of this. So I just never really.
And I tell guys when they go into a slump, take the batting gloves off, put the bat in your hand, bare hand, and that'll teach you or remind you how to use your hands. Because you're afraid that if I don't use my hands, the bat's going to hurt if I get jammed.
And that's true. And also I just think it got in my head as well. Like boy, I just go ahead and mail in this 0 for 4 because it's cold out and I'm putting batting gloves on, but. It just became a mind over matter thing. And the quote unquote old school players, players maybe a generation before myself, you saw lots of hitters didn't wear batting gloves. I bet you Babe Ruth didn't wear them. I'm comparing myself to Babe Ruth
boy.
now. Yeah, boy, me and the Babe.
Those train rides.
All those memories.
I mean, truth be told, you only overlapped for, what, a year and a half?
That's right. I was facing the Babe when he was a pitcher. He had good stuff.
My bad. I had the wrong end of your career.
You looking
But I'm
forward
trying to think of
forward
that.
to the season going, guys?
Absolutely. Though I have to be honest, we were all extremely fortunate to work in this game, and I love the summer. But this, in many, many ways, is my favorite time of year. It's relaxed. It's fun. The weather's great. I mean, you live down here, but, you know, we have great weather in Colorado. Come down here, it's just like Colorado South right now. You see half your neighbors. It's just it's a great time.
The Rockies get they get a lot of fans come down here. Rockies always playing in front of big crowds.
It's an easy drive. If you want to drive, it's a short flight, however you need to get down here. But to come down to the amenities of this ballpark.
Right.
Every person I talk to, they come here and they say, if this is their first time, I'm coming again next year.
Absolutely. And plus the fun thing about spring training, Drew and Jeff, I'm sure you do it. You get to play general manager. You kind of see these new guys who you like, who you think maybe needs to maybe go away for a while.
Here's a great one as Gerardo Parra's battling away. When I say we, the organization surprised George Frazier the other day, and his son Parker worked the 7th inning in a big league game, first time. George had no idea. He comes running in, and before we come back from commercial break, George turns to me, and in only the way that Frazier can, he said, "You put them up to this." I said, "Yeah, now I'm making personnel moves, huh?"
Mr. G.
Yeah, you got that much power.
Yeah, exactly. Don't think so. Good inning for Rex Brothers. We'll go to the 9th. It's all Arizona. The Rockies 7-2, top of the 9th inning. On a sun-splashed Arizona afternoon. This ball game's moved along.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
Going to be the kiss of death.
Way to go, Goodman.
Actually, we did a game earlier this year. It was 4-0 Rockies. Frazier said, I'm going to blame on Frazier's not here.
Yeah, good.
I probably said it. A bing, a bong, and next thing you know, it's 4-4.
Yeah. And there's plenty of pitching to back up. Let's go ahead and play 12 innings.
Yeah, fortunately, it was just 10. This looks like Warren Schaefer at the plate. Brad Ziegler's now out there for Arizona. Now this is Chandler Laurent. Let me correct that. Chandler Laurent. You don't see too many right-handed specialists, but when a guy throws from down under, That's no fun on a righty.
Yeah, Ziegler's a guy, like you said, and this is what Kevin Towers wants. Kevin Towers wants a bunch of different looks in his bullpen. He doesn't want a bunch of cookie-cutter right-handers that are,
three-quarters
or over the top, throwing anywhere from 93 to 96 miles an hour. He likes all his guys to be different. He doesn't want his sixth-inning guy, looking exactly like his seventh-inning guy or his eighth-inning guy. He wants different looks, and certainly Ziegler. You saw Joe Patterson from the left side the inning before. J.J. Putz is the closer. David Hernandez is the eighth-inning guy who had a tremendous year last year. So he's got a bunch of different looks from all his guys in the pens. That was ripped.
This ball is ripped, and it is off the base of the wall for Lorette. So when he calls home later, he said, Mom and Dad, I butchered one in left field, but guess what? I got an AB on the big field, and I tatered one to right.
Right off the base of the wall in right field over the head of the right fielder who has been playing in. Fastball flat, belt high, arms extended.
Those were fun to hit, weren't they?
Thank you.
Those submariners that leave them belt high and they don't sink, they don't do anything but just stay right there for you to just clobber. Nicely done, young man.
Brandon Wood, who's done some good things this spring.
Well, this guy just had stardom written all over him. With the Angels, coming through the Angels organization, dominated
Put up monster
the minor
numbers.
leagues. I mean, dominated the minor leagues. It just has not happened at the major league level for him. Either in the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim last year, he did really nothing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So now he's gonna try his luck here, and here he goes again.
Serves a single to center field. Lorette will come around and score. Carr lobs it back in, so Brandon Wood makes it 7-3.
But eventually, when you come up as one of the #1 prospects in all of baseball, like Brandon Wood did, eventually, Jeff and also Drew, you run out of chances. You only have so many chances at this level. I don't care if you were a #1 pick or if you're a guy like me, a number 24 pick. You only have so many chances, and you want good things for the young man, but eventually those chances are going to run out. He's got to start making something happen, and rather quickly.
One thing that had been hurting him was the sliders and the breaking pitches away. There's no doubt he could hit the fastball, but he stayed on the last breaking pitch and soft served it to center.
Here's Delta Cleary, and he takes a strike on the outside corner.
You know how this game is. They get a book on you.
True.
And that book is written, and unless you make the adjustment on the book and add an extra chapter, they're going to just keep writing the same thing over and over again.
And pitchers read that book.
Cleary's an interesting guy. He runs very well. 6'3" and about 185 pounds. Drafted out of Louisiana State University at Eunice.
Not real familiar with that program.
You're not?
No. It's a junior college, actually.
I know his cousin is Sean Marion, pretty good player down here in the Valley of the Sun.
He is a world champion Dallas Maverick now, but yeah, he was a terrific player for many years here for the Phoenix Suns.
Shoot.
Two and two on Cleary. Nobody out. A double and a single has produced a run for the Rockies.
And that's what a submariner sinker baller wants you to do. Just pound it into the ground. Keep it around the knees and just have you swing either over the top of it or hit the top of the baseball. And you're always a pitch away from a double play ball if you can do that.
Yeah, we were talking about Brandon Wood, great minor league career. Earlier, Tyler Colvin, a #1 pick. This ball's fouled off. Gracie, you were drafted late, right? You were a free agent.
I wasn't drafted.
You weren't drafted, which is a senior sign, which is amazing to get that opportunity, much less end up in the big leagues for 10 years in a month. Both of you guys are exceptions to the rule. At what point in time during your minor league career did the light go on and you say, you know what, I can get to the big leagues, I think I belong?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I think it was my first year just getting the opportunity and then putting up numbers.
It was your first year in Burlington, Iowa.
And you were
playing on a co-op team.
Co-op team, yeah. Half Montreal Expos, half Kansas City Royals. And that was weird, though, because at home we wore Expo uniforms. On the road we wore Royal uniforms. Go figure. But Larry Walker, myself, and Melito Perez all made it to the big leagues off that team.
And it's one of those, a guy like Jeff who was wasn't even drafted, just getting an opportunity. A guy like Jeff it's got to happen within the first 2 or 3. If he has a bad week and a half, he'll probably be released and never get another opportunity. But to his credit, he had not only a great first couple of weeks, but he had a great season. He made the All-Star team that year in single A ball, and that's where I first met him. But a guy like myself, a 24th round draft pick, you're not a first, second, third round guys they've spent money on. They're going to try to get the most out of you if that happens. Round the second, he can't turn the double play. Good speed there from Cleary, but yeah, it's got to happen. If I would have gone the first couple of weeks and not done anything, I would have probably been released and doing something different for a living. But fortunately, in A ball, it was a little different for me because I was in the big leagues within really 2 years. I had a very good A ball year, had a very good Double A year, and then I was pretty much in the big leagues. But.
Did you surprise yourself at all? I mean,
yes.
Did you think, man, you know what?
I didn't think I would make it to the big leagues as fast as I did. I also signed out of San Diego State. I was already 21 years old when I got to the minor leagues. I wasn't a baby. I was a young man at the time, and I would say probably after hitting 345 with 95 RBIs in A ball, I'm like, okay, Now I'm one of the higher prospects in the game. I'm like, man, I got a chance to do this. And then go to Double A, and I ended up being MVP of the Eastern League, driving in 101 runs. And then it's just a matter of time. Okay, now will a spot open up for me? Right. And I think you have to be lucky in that respect too. You can put up all the minor league numbers you want, but you have to get lucky in the fact that a spot has to open up. If you were a first baseman in the Yankee organization, Don Mattingly was there. You weren't going to go anywhere. So it's the same thing. If you were a first baseman in the Cardinal organization, you weren't going anywhere. You were stopped by Joey Votto in Cincinnati, something like that. So you have to hope a spot opens up for you.
2 outs. Will Nieves at the plate. Delta Cleary's at first base. Well, everybody's got a different story. We did a ball game against the Seattle Mariners about 10 days ago, and they have 2 pitchers. And forgive me, folks, I'm not going to be able to give you their name off the top of my head, that are going to make their club. One was with them last year that was out of baseball for 5 years.
Goodness. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Out of baseball. Had a JOB. And coaching a little bit. They haven't picked up a baseball. That'll do it. That's the ball game. Everybody has a different story. Arizona looked good today. I'm sure Kirk Gibson is pleased, particularly with that left-hander Patrick Corbin, who's the story of the day. 5 no-hit innings, and he threw out a single and a triple as the Diamondbacks prevail 7-3.
Very impressive, and guys, I'm looking very forward to seeing you guys very early in the season. I think we find ourselves in the beautiful state of Colorado pretty early in the season, within the first week, I believe. So looking forward. Jeff, always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
It's been fun.
Drew, always a pleasure. Thank you. Anytime you want to step in for Darren, please feel free. Feel free anytime.
You kidding me? Darren's an hour and a half into his tan right now. Huey, from the Rockies' perspective.
Well, I look at Eric Young Jr. and what he was able to do today. A young man that's on the bubble, and a lot of scouts in the stand today too. He played center field beautifully, left field, a couple knocks. Can always do wonderful things on the bases. So it was a good day for Eric Young Jr.
There you go. So the Arizona Diamondbacks win it this afternoon, 7-3. Gorgeous Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. For Darren Sutton, for Mark Graves, for Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman saying so long from Scottsdale. We'll talk to you very soon. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, everybody.